You gotta finger each other.
Ooh.
Finger me, Gene. Finger me good, Gene. What's up, guys? It's the wood.
You said
The
it
wood.
wrong.
I didn't know. It's the wood where
Yes.
you get what, red guy?
You get wooded so good.
Holy shit. I bet you can't beat that, Gene. Can you do it more sexuals?
You get what it good.
Oh, damn.
Damn, I didn't think someone could do it more sexual than Red Eye, but damn, then Gene comes along
Well,
like a pro.
I've been bested. Holy shit.
What a douche. Why you gotta do Red Eye like that? Could have just done worse than him to make him feel better.
You know what,
I'm
Shab?
the greatest.
I don't mind being done, so it's all good.
Yeah, is that why you put on a beanie so you can try to act like you're the greatest?
Well, actually,
is that why you're wearing a
everyone's
shirt
like-
that's the same color as mine so you can act like
Hey,
you're
I
the
didn't-
greatest?
Huh? This is the first
Oh,
time I
yeah.
talked to you today. You piece.
Uh-huh.
I'm wearing a beanie because I'm going bald. So
I'm wearing a beanie because I have a huge fro.
I think you're bald, Shab. I think
No.
your
People
balding
have
is
seen
probably
me
worse
on
than
DP.
mine. You piece of
No.
shit. What?
People have seen me on DP with my hat off. Go check out the segment. Okay.
Welcome to the receding hairline show.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. This is
Are you
great.
bald?
No.
Baldzilla?
I've been paranoid about that my whole entire life, and I've just realized the other day I'm turning 49 next year, and I maybe in the corners it's starting a little bit of a creep, but other than that, I've still got a full head of hair, and it's barely turning grey. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
my
dad's
Lupit-
like in his 60s or 70s at this point, and he still has a full head of hair. So
Yeah, my grandfather did. He died in his late 70s, and that dude had thick, luscious fucking hair.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
definitely.
lupus makes your hair fall out.
oh, you and all your excuses, Gene.
Oh. Well, the only other excuse is genetics.
No. Where's
Pimps.
Pimp? We killed him.
yeah, we buried him in a shallow
Backtalked
grave.
Redbot, and Redbot went in fucking war mode. He clicked a button, and then he just transformed into a mech warrior and
seen
just
this.
started launching missiles.
I haven't seen Billy Gray in a while. Why haven't you been watching my stream?
He doesn't like you. Billy Gray, type 1 in the chat if you don't like him. He doesn't like you. He
No,
doesn't like you.
Pimp's sinus infections really giving him shit today. He's in a lot of pain. So I've ordered him to take the day off and go and kick back with his mum and maybe have something nice to eat. If you're watching, boss, I hope you feel better soon, and hi to Mama Pimp. So if anyone can spare a few bucks, swing it Pimp's way, because he's in a bad way and we've got to get him sorted with a dentist as soon as this infection's cleared up, or it's going to murder, death, kill him, and nobody wants to see that. Maybe John does, but we're not going to allow it.
What
So,
a jerk.
I
Yeah.
don't want to see anyone die.
oh, there you go.
Even people I hate, I don't want to see them die.
Wow,
Well-
that's so virtuous and awesome of you, Gene. You're
Yeah, how
such a
much of a
nice
wonderful human being I am.
person. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had a bit of a subject matter today. The American census is in, and it has some interesting stuff. So what I'm going to do is get this article up,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to link it to my colleagues here in the stream. And because I'm awesome and I can do that sort of shit, I'm also going to link it to chat. So we've all got the same reference material to look at. So what's been happening with the American census? Well, let's go and have a look. It shows that America is diversifying, but your population growth is at its slowest rate since the Great Depression.
Stagnating.
Yeah.
We're not
It's also-
replacing ourselves.
Yep. And it's also showing that people are moving towards the cities, and they're bailing out of the country areas. And here's the best bit. Now, you may have heard some weird crying sounds, muffled sort of hysterical screaming. That will be Nick Fuentes and JF and his ilk, because, here's the best bit. The the different segments of the American population, their percentages are changing quite rapidly, it turns out. So the US has grown more over urban areas in the past 10 years, according to the release from the US Census Bureau, and the number of people who identify as multiracial has increased by 276%, from 9 million in 2010 to 33.8 million in 2020. The non-Hispanic white population, which remains the largest race or ethnic group, now this is where you're hearing Nick Fuentes and JF go, "Rah!" That shrank by 8.6% over the decade and now only accounts for 57.8% of the population, the lowest share on record. Hey, Mr. Amazing. So, yes, some very interesting statistics coming out. The Hispanic population grew by almost a quarter over the decade. And by comparison, the non-Hispanic growth rate was down 4.3%. So, yeah, number of people identifying as Asian has jumped up by more than a third to 24 million people. And people who identify as a race other than white, black, Asian, American, Indian, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander, either alone or in combination with one of those races, jumped to 49.9 million, surpassing the black population of 46.9 million people as the nation's second largest racial group. Things are changing in America.
Well,
fucking interesting stuff.
What's weird is that, like, because slavery was like more predominant in the South, the southern states have a very large black population, but like when it comes to like immigration, like a lot of people overseas or from other countries that move to America, they move to like the far west or like the northeastern states. So a lot of the diversity you see more in like the Northeast and the Midwest. But the odd thing is that a big chunk of America's like black population is in the South. And as we all know, the South are the red states, and minorities aren't really treated very well in that part of the states.
Yep. Well, here's the other interesting bit. So the nation's 7.4% growth rate over the last decade was largely propelled by a boom in the Hispanic population. More than half of all US counties lost population from 2010 to 2020, and almost all growth occurred in metropolitan areas. So people are going, no jobs out here, and fucking off to metropolitan areas where there's work.
I think it's also younger generations just aren't interested in living out in like rural areas. Like I moved to the city, and like you're seeing a lot of gentrification, like in cities like Baltimore. And Baltimore is like one of the most crime-heavy cities out there, and a very large percentage of millennials are like moving into Baltimore, and like city life's definitely improving overall in America, because for the longest time, it's like if you're wealthy, you lived in the suburbs, and it's very different compared to like most other Western countries where cities usually do have a decent level of development. But if you don't live in like LA or New York, like public transportations in cities has always been completely unreliable. There's like potholes everywhere, and they're just pretty much all the bougie white people moved away from the cities when racial segregation was outlawed, because they didn't want to live amongst like the minority populations. So they were kind of abandoned and left with like no infrastructure.
Yep. Well, here's the other really interesting part, is that the release of this census data also marks the start of what will be a fierce partisan battle over redistricting. So this is where they'll basically draw new lines. And from what I understand, the Republicans really like to make sure, like in Florida, for instance, there was a really blatant case of it where they just redrew the district line so that the Democrat ended up, or the place that was Democratic ended up with a whole bunch of former felons, and the law at that time was former felons didn't get to fucking vote. And so the Republican that was in power was drawing up the districts to make sure that the Democratic sort of fucking thing was a whole bunch of people were just ineligible to vote because of these shitty rules. And to get your right to vote back, you had to go and basically petition the government and stand in front of the sitting government and go, yeah, I really want to vote. I'm going to vote for you guys. And the people that did that got their right to vote back. But if you just went in there and were kind of neutral or hinted that you were going to vote against the Republicans, they wouldn't let you vote. They'd just go, no, you can't have your right to vote back. It was fucking amazing that took place. It's like Florida is the gift that keeps giving. But yeah, this apparently all of this data is going to be used now, and the Democrats and the GOP are going to start fighting about drawing new district lines to try and give themselves the best chance of winning the next election. It's like fucking crazy stuff, America. So apparently in April, the Bureau published state-level totals showing that 6 states will gain congressional seats next year based on increased populations, as well as additional electoral college votes starting with the 2024 presidential election. Another 7 states will lose seats next year. So, yeah, they're kind of changing the actual fucking environment of the playing field.
Well, like with the electoral college, like one of the things that's kind of annoying is like a lot of really vacant states that like no one lives in those states, they get 3 votes. So they make sure that every state gets at least 3 votes. And like pretty much California and like cities that or states that should be like they should have like several more electoral votes than they do, they give those votes to the smaller states. So if they should only get like 1 electoral vote or less than 1 electoral vote based on just how small their population is, like they're being like votes are being taken away from larger states and given to those states. And then you have like Washington, D.C. and like Puerto Rico and America Samoa, and like a lot of those territories have larger populations than a lot of states, and they don't get any electoral votes. So if all of those territories were made states and given like the amount of electoral votes that they should have based on their population, then the like Republicans would pretty much not win any election. Or if they just went by the popular vote, it would like pretty much it would be impossible for Republicans to win the election.
Yeah. Now I'm getting a better understanding of this electoral college shit, and the reason why they brought it in was to make sure that rural areas got represented. Things have changed now. This is the 21st century, and like, well, you just got to look at the corn subsidies and all of the subsidies that farmers are getting. The farmers are getting fucking looked after, and people in the city now realize that if we don't look after farmers, we all fucking starve and we'll be cannibals in a week. So you got to look after farmers. That's a fundamental understanding of modern life now in most Western nations. So I think I'm actually going to say for the first time, maybe they should look at this whole system and deconstruct it and look at a fairer way to get people's fucking votes actually representing, you know, the end result. Because what happened with, you know, Trump was pretty crazy. And then there was the whole thing with fucking Al Gore and Bush. There's just so many shady things that have taken place over the years. Now, maybe it's time to change your system and look at a hybrid system of what we do here and what you guys have got. I don't know, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that don't get represented. That's blatantly obvious now with American politics. It's like, and the Electoral College can ignore the wishes of the voters in that state and just go, which is like, that's ludicrous. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base on this. It's very interesting. I left a link in chat. I'll pop it back in here again in case people that came a bit later haven't seen it. So, yes, America is changing, and it's changed a hell of a lot over the last 10 years. And eventually it's going to be like South Park, where everyone's brown and they go, and they took our jobs.
Yeah, here, I'm trying to look this up on the map. So like Wyoming has 3 electoral votes, and it's got like 500,000 in terms of population. And Washington, D.C. has like more people living there, and it doesn't get any votes. And the District of Columbia is pretty much a blue territory, and Wyoming's a red territory. And like when you go higher, Puerto Rico is ranked 29. So it's like there are around like 20 something states that have a smaller population than Puerto Rico.
And what are you talking about, Pat? I mean, Gene.
Well, we're talking about like
what?
Misrepresentation or a lack of representation for certain demographics.
Have just been going
in
for a while, and I've been smoking weed, and all of a sudden I tuned back in. I don't know what you guys are doing.
It's all right, Shab. We're going to talk about Pokemon
Where am
in about
I?
2 minutes. Just hang in there,
Where
buddy.
am I?
2 more minutes. Give us 2 more minutes. You'll be confused.
Okay.
It's gonna be scary, but you'll be okay. I promise you, bro. We got you back. So, yeah, this is really interesting how it's highlighting that no longer is white people a massive majority in America. And in another 10 years, I think they might not be the majority of people anymore. And that's why you're hearing these weird sounds. It's like Nick Fuentes and JF freaking the fuck out trying to organize an ethno state, but no one's fucking interested. Everyone's going, I think we just want to get our South Park on, become brown and start going, and they took our jobs. And yeah, I'm down with that.
I mean, in most other like Western countries, don't prisoners vote? They have the right to vote. Even when they're in prison, they're able to vote while in prison. And like in the United States, we make it illegal for like prisoners or anybody with a criminal record to vote. And we pretty much do that because like minorities live in areas that like are more lower class areas. And of course, there's a clear bias when it comes to incarceration for people who live in more lower class areas. So that's one way they eliminate a bunch of like blue votes, is by taking people's voting rights away from them if they have a criminal record. And then there's like gerrymandering, and Red Eye talked about that, where they like change the borders of like different municipalities and states in order to get more votes. So if if we got rid of all these like really right-leaning policies that are just interfering with people getting like the representation that they should, it's like Republicans are pretty much guaranteed not to win any elections if that was the case. Don't you care about this, Shabisky?
Yeah, I care about all the stuff you were just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Dude, I totally, that is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with
I just wanted to talk about that because those statistics are really interesting, and it's shown that there's a lot of diversity in America after all, a massive amount of it that's been unearthed. It's just, I think people are becoming more comfortable in revealing this information, because maybe 50 years ago, if you could get away with or people thought you were white, you might not want to bring to their attention that you have other ethnicities in your heritage, because it's, shit was pretty fucking racist, and there's still a lot of racism today, but that shows that there's a lot of diversity in America too. So things are changing, and that's good.
Yeah.
And those white supremacists are going to be shit out of luck in about 50 years from now. They'll be a tiny little minority.
Stop hating on Gene. Okay.
Oh,
it's messed up.
Gene.
Okay. He's a respectable human being.
I don't think I'm a white supremacist, Shab.
You don't think. Yeah, I know. You know what you are, and you're proud, Gene. You are proud.
From Shab.
You are a proud white supremacist, Gene. Show them your swastika. I know you got one.
No. I was wondering the other day, we were talking about swastikas. What do you think? Like, how common do you think swastika tattoos are, like, in the Far East? Because, like, if you hang up a swastika on your wall, or have swastika decor in the Far East, it doesn't have the same kind of like meaning that it does in the West.
Yeah, well, symbology is funny like that. If you show swastika orientated a certain way, maybe with an eagle crest or something, or the words I don't know, SS Das Reich Panzer Division, people might not sort of go, oh, that's nice symbology. But if you show it in a Eastern thing where it's obviously got other symbology involved and it's not just that thing, is people are going to look at it differently. But having said that, I wasn't aware that the swastika that it existed before the Nazi regime, and I'd always associated it with Nazi. Well, it turns out not the case. And then I looked into it, it's like, oh, it's been used before in different orientations, and they reverse it and put other symbols with it. Yeah. Weird shit.
Oh, Raisin Girl asked me, what are you doing next weekend? Like, what do you mean? Like on the podcast, the topic?
She's asking you on a date, Gene. Okay.
I thought she was married.
Yeah. Well, she's had a change of mind, apparently. Okay.
Shabisky makes everything awkward.
She's seen this hunk named Gene wearing a beanie, copying Shaboopy. Even wears the same color shirt as Shaboopy. Look at him. Look how he's copying me, guys.
I did not know what you were wearing today.
All right, so it's Sanskrit. It's a Sanskrit symbol. Okay, so funny thing about symbology is, for instance, there's the OK symbol. Now, if you're a diver, the OK symbol's like, now. But if you're a police officer in America and you go, hey, OK, certain people are going to go, you're a fucking racist piece of shit. And it's like, what? How did the OK symbol go from I'm okay?
Yeah, right.
I'm a fucking white supremacist. Fucking. I don't get
It reminds me of whenever I think of that, I always think of the Malcolm in the Middle episode where they're all doing the thing underneath the desk. I mean, it's basically the same symbol, right? It's just they do it underneath your desk or below your waist. You know what that thing is, right? What I'm talking about? If you look at it, they punch you in the arm.
No, I don't remember
what
the
I'm talking
episode.
about?
Blue punch buggy, no punch back.
No, you do the thing and then you do it below your waist and be like, hey, look over there. And if your friend looks at it, you gotcha, and you hit him. Somebody in the chat knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Apparently, you guys live under rocks.
Yeah,
okay?
sorry, not cool. I'm
fucking
not cool.
Dicks.
Damn.
Okay, who knows what
girl
I'm talking
says
about?
She'll be in my area. I gotta clean up my house.
Dude, you're getting laid, Gene.
God, why do you always have to?
Gene, what? Dude, I'm proud of you.
What if
Maybe I
Rosie's a
should try.
hit girl?
There's like the quarantine. I maybe like the Hippodrome. That's like a theater where they have like opera and like Broadway and stuff. Well, it's not Broadway, but they have like the kind of theatrical plays. So maybe I should look into that. We got to see if she does come, maybe Baltimore Aquarium. Yeah, I did an episode on my podcast about Baltimore, and Shab was all like completely uninterested in everything.
Yeah. You could have talked about something more interesting, like where I live. Okay, could have done that. Did you ever think about that, Gene?
Or we could just meet somewhere for dinner.
Are you asking me on a date, Gene?
Well, I've never met somebody on the internet before, so it's kind of like if you meet up with somebody that you hang out with on the internet, like, what do you...
Is he talking to me?
I don't know, Shabby. You should ask him.
Press 1 in the chat, everyone, if Shab makes things awkward.
Press 2 in the chat if Gene's fucking weird and talks past me while I'm talking to him.
God damn. Come on, kids. I'll turn this car around if we don't stop.
Yeah, I didn't know Raisin Girl's gone to Baltimore before.
Raisin Girl, you back up. That's my man. Okay? You back up. Okay? I don't know who you think you is. You about to get slapped. It's my man.
We'll get slide.
Okay?
Oh.
I even dress him, see?
Whoa.
That's how you know he's my man. Okay? He's my proper tat. I dress him.
little bit possessive
Yeah.
there, Shabby.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's my property.
Wow.
Yeah. He's my bitch.
God damn.
I'm gonna just rename him bitch. Okay? What's it gonna say on your birth certificate? Fuck Gene Morgan. It's bitch, bitch, bitch. First name bitch, last no. We'll figure it out.
Chad, what other ways can you think of where like the GOP tries to like rig the elections?
Oh my god!
Where they
there's
make it
so
difficult.
Many.
So
There's
many.
So many
Like what are
examples
some of
that I
the?
could name that it's just.
What are
oh
what are
my
some of
God.
those examples, Chad?
Just the idea of naming this huge list bothers me because it's already giving me a headache in my head just thinking about how big the list is in my head of different things. You know, yeah, just immediately just a huge list of things popped up in my brain. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it.
Side note, call your ISP after the show and tell them that your upload is still broken as fuck and that they better fix that shit or you'll be taking your fucking business elsewhere because they're inept at providing you an internet connection.
Yeah,
Just
I meant to call them today, and then I stayed up all night and then slept in.
Yeah. Oh, you did we created an epic saga last night, the saga of Egghead.
Yeah.
Broken hearts, shattered dreams.
Broken. Don't mention your heart around Egghead, guys. Don't mention a heart.
God.
Okay.
We were streaming and like we were talking about drinking, getting drunk, and it's like, do you think Egghead could do that? Like, doesn't he have a heart condition? And Egghead's like, don't make fun of my heart condition. It's like, I wasn't even making fun of it.
Yeah. And then the truth came out that Egghead unfollowed Shabby. He unfollowed Shabby, right?
He followed me back after I bitched at him about it, though.
No, dude, that you didn't bitch. That was an epic saga.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was an emotional roller coaster, dude. Holy shit.
I stuck my neck out for that egg dick guy. You know what he does? He hears Gene make a stupid remark and he unfollows me. Was
the remark stupid?
That is a lack of loyalty. It's stupid because it doesn't matter. That's what I mean by stupid. It really doesn't fucking matter. Even if you were making a little jab at him about his heart condition, people do that on DP all the time. All of a sudden, that happens on my stream. You say that, and I'm pretty sure right after you said that, I was like, "Stop, Gene." I'm pretty sure, right? You're like, "Oh, the heart condition or whatever," and I'm like, "Just Gene, just shut up, stop." And then the next thing you know, I get unfollowed. It's like, yes, I'm such a bad guy, Egghead. I'm as evil as they get. I'm such a douche. I should have muted him right in the middle of his sentence instead of just telling him to stop after he was done saying
what do you think about all of his Twitter posts?
We don't need to get into it, but he's a butthead.
Hey, you guys brought him up.
Well, me and Red Guy can talk about it, but not you.
Not me.
Yeah. Because you're a big jerk.
We're allowed to talk about that stuff, but you're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was.
I even photoshopped a dick on Egghead's face. Okay? This is the kind of things I do for people. And I get disrespected in the end. I get unfollowed as if my Twitter isn't the greatest. It's bullshit. Okay? Everyone hit the thumbs up button for us. Okay? Hit right now. Hit the like button. Do it.
Well, everyone, let's start a tip train. I'll donate $20 for every person who donates.
Oh, John Morgan, you're a fucking legend. So, yeah, if that would be awesome. Or become a Patreon. Private shows, we're going to be working on those, improving them. What else have we got? Got to start doing some gaming related stuff for Pimp's Patreons as well, because I don't know, maybe Shabby and I could do a night with the Patreons and we play some games, I don't know, Jackbox games and Amongst Us and things like that, exclusively for Pimp's Patreons.
No, you know what I want to do? Magic the Gathering. They have like the Magic the Gathering Arena digital trading card game. And Shab's all into Pokemon and stuff. Like, I need to get him to get into Magic. I've been trying to get him to invest in Magic. So, what do you think, Red Eye? Have you played Magic?
I haven't played it. I'm aware of it. I'll have a crack at it. Be a bit of fun.
I'm thinking on my channel, it's free, so it's accessible to everyone. It's like Among Us or Jackbox, where pretty much anyone, regardless of their PC specs, can play it and join. So it's a good group activity to get all like the members in your chat, all your subscribers involved. So if Shab doesn't do it, I'm just going to do it on my channel. I'm going to create a Magic the Gathering Arena account.
About everything, Gene. Okay, you suck. You want to duel or not, bro? Okay.
Billy Pimp's sick today. His sinus infection's kicking his ass, so I gave him the day off. So, any donations will be really appreciated today, so we can get Pimp a little fun going to get him to the dentist, because we got to get that fucking tooth sorted out, because it's gonna fucking murder him eventually. So, Pimp's having the day off. We're gonna look after the shop. John's made a very generous offer, so anyone, if you tip today, John's going to top it up. So really appreciate that, John. That's fucking awesome of you. So basically today we're just going to talk with chat and cover subjects that you guys bring up, because that's what we're supposed to do on Fridays, I think. Hang out and talk with chat, just relax, kick back.
Play with our Pokemon cards, man. Yeah,
actually, Racing Girl, I have a huge shoebox of Magic cards buried somewhere in my closet upstairs. I'm going to have to do some digging to find it.
You don't even care about your Magic cards.
And there's a Pokemon like digital trading card game, so we can do that.
Yeah, that'd be hot.
But we'll do it on your channel, the Pokemon, because I'm okay doing Magic on my channel, but like doing the Pokemon trading card game on my channel, I don't want to look like a dork. So we'll do it on your channel.
You beat his ass, Godzilla. Don't let him talk that way about Pokemon.
Shabby, I've got some cards here that I've collected from years ago. So I collected Judge Dredd cards, and I collected some Phantom comic cards, but I also collected a series of cards, and they're basically just weed cards. And I bought a fucking brand new box and made myself a base set for Series 2, and I've got a couple of 100 cards left from all the seconds and shit I got, so I should post you over a whole bunch of these, because they're in pristine condition and they're like fucking 15 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll work that out.
Rio
weed cards.
Yeah.
Rio wants me to play Pokemon against you, Shab.
Ooh.
He said with, not against. Gene.
Okay, well, you need to download or create a Pokemon. What is it? TH, whatever account. The digital
TCG trading card
TCG.
game.
Okay.
Why is it so complicated for you, Gene?
I don't
Okay, you're supposed to have 20 degrees or
called.
whatever the fuck. Can't remember TCG. What the fuck, Gene? How are we gonna expect you to build bridges when you can't even remember TC fucking G? Gene, trading card game.
I only heard it once from you.
No,
so
that's not a good.
I'm sorry, I
excuse,
forgot
Gene.
something
You
after
better
just
be
hearing
sorry.
it one time.
You better be sorry, you bitch. Beat him up, Red Eye. Get him. Get him. Sick him. Sick him, boy. Sick him. Get him. Bite him.
Bite.
Kill him. Do it.
Nah. That's a lot of energy required to do the murder, death, kill thing. It's not a good investment.
Yeah,
What do I get out of this murder, Shabby?
Meth.
What's in it for me?
Maybe.
Meth?
Yeah, maybe.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna promise anything, so it might drop on the ground,
I'm not promising 7 grand rocks of winning. No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Not gonna promise anything,
Yeah.
Shut up, Gene.
You shut up.
And the show is degraded into the shut up, Gene. Yeah, you shut up. Yeah, you shut up.
Billy Gray. mention Garbage Pail Kids. I know.
Oh, Jesus.
Was that a game or was it just like a trading card?
No, they were fucking dolls too, dude. It's like Cabbage Patch Kids came out and someone went, what's the opposite of a fucking nice cuddly Cabbage Patch Kid? And someone went, yeah, aborted babies in garbage cans. It's like, yep, all right. It's like, and then we got the Garbage Pail Kids and they were fucking fucked up.
Yeah, I saw that movie. That movie was weird. The oddest kids film I've ever seen. Whoever would show that to their kid probably shouldn't be allowed to have children.
And whoever thought that was just a good idea to turn it into a kids movie, they probably should be on a watch list.
And what's weird is like in the movie, like the main character is like this 12, 13-year-old boy, and all the bullies are like young adults. And it's like, why are a bunch of like adults in their early 20s like ganging up and bullying like a 12-year-old?
Because it's cool.
And it's all like he's got like a crush on... He has a crush on the like one girl who's part of the bully gang, and all their names are like Juice and Tangerine, and God, that movie is so. We need to do like a commentary on that film.
Yeah,
You
so
and Red Eye?
Billy was right. It was trading cards, but there are now fucking like Funko Pop versions of them, and holy shit! All right, so. People are cards are starting to take off again because you can buy a lot, 20 original Garbage Pail Kids packs. Yeah, they're selling packs. They're selling $270 for a lot of 100 random cards. So they're already opened and they're charging $270 just for the random set of 100. Holy shit. Garbage Pail Kids, original first series, set of 82, $2,400 for the set. That's on eBay.
Like the cards are opened?
Yeah, cards are open.
It's all of the cards from that?
Yep. First series set of 82 complete, and it's the original first series, and they're all sleeved in protective cases. So $2,400.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wonder how much a sealed box would be, because those for Pokemon go for a lot. A box that basically it's one of the things they put on the shelves, you know, that kids grab one pack at a time from. It has 36 packs in it. Those sealed are worth a lot. If it's an old thing like that, I bet those what you're talking about, if those were sealed in a box, it would be worth like tens of thousands of dollars probably.
Oh, I'm looking for sealed packs. Here we go. 87 Garbage Pail Kids.
Well, not sealed packs, but a booster box.
Oh, okay. Booster boxes. What have we got here? We got a 2020 35th anniversary blaster box that's going for $61. So you can get that's a reissue though, 35th anniversary.
Yeah, 2020.
I'll try and find originals. Let's see if we can find.
Yeah, you might not be able to even find it. Who knows? maybe nobody has them.
You know what? You might be fucking right because hold on. 2013. No, it's 2013.
Yeah.
2020. I did not see a single box of original ones. All of them have been opened.
Yeah. Part of me wants to start buying these booster boxes, and whenever I get them, I get an extra one and put them in a sealed thing to protect them and just start collecting them, you know. Like a cool guy.
Yeah, you just collect them. You don't actually play the game.
See? Gene's got the right idea.
Yeah, well, there are dudes making decent money now, and what they do is they'll get their audience and they'll have people chip in a share. So you throw in $100, that'll get you X amount of cards, and the dude will open them up, and he'll assign some unopened packs to you, and then he'll open them up and then post them out to you. And the dude that's doing that is actually making bank just from buying boxes, unwrapping them, and then posting them out to people, and he gets to keep a few cards himself, obviously, as well. But he's making bank. Every time the boxes go up in price, he just jacks up the share price, and people are still throwing in.
Yeah, what he does is he'll because I think you're talking about the Leon guy or whatever. I think or wait, no, what's that other guy's name? Rev, maybe that's who you're talking about. Like, but yeah, you can go to his website and you can buy one of these vintage packs, and then you can choose when you buy it whether he opens it or he just sends it to you. You want, he'll just send it to you and you can open it, or he'll open it up on the stream and be like, oh, this is Shabisky's opening and see what I get. And then but yeah, that is I've seen that only relatively like recently, only in the last like couple months or something. I've seen that, and I thought that was really really cool. I'm sure he's making bank off of that.
Yeah, well, he's got audience participation, and they're getting something out of it too. It's like they get cards,
Yeah.
and they get the whole excitement of getting some cards, because not everybody can afford to buy an entire fucking booster box and get the joy of. And I tell you, buying a booster box and ripping open the entire box looking for chase cards, it's fucking good fun, because I used to do that with Judge Dredd cards, and I was buying boxes of them for $20. I'd rip them open, I'd make base sets, and then get a bunch of chase cards, go straight back to the card shop, sell the base sets for like more than the box was worth, go figure, and just buy more boxes. And I did this for like a month and a half straight while I was doing this fucking course for Social Security. And all I did was, even the course dude was helping me open fucking cards by the end of it. We just abandoned the course and we were just going to the card shop, and everyone was buying boxes of cards. It was fucking hilarious.
So there's a Judge Dredd trading card game?
Well, it's not a trading card game. It's just from the 1985 movie. They released two sets of cards. One's based on the comic with comic artwork, and the other's mostly from the Judge Dredd Sylvester Stallone movie.
Now, how many franchises, like popular fictional franchises, do you think have trading card games based behind them or around them?
Well, I don't know about games, but just about every TV show from the 60s onwards, every sport, everything had trading cards. Trading card games, but shit.
Do you think there's a Stargate? I know there's a Star Trek and a Star Wars trading card game. What about a Stargate trading card game?
I don't know.
Look that up.
I honestly don't know, but yeah, I used to just love trading cards, and there used to be a bunch of shops around. We'd go and I'd trade all of the chase cards and get other trade, but then the arse end fell out of the market and they were worth nothing. And then Pokemon all of a sudden became fucking cool again, and now by the looks of it, everything else is getting dragged up behind. Pokemon and trading cards and all of that 80s shit that most of my generation had and then threw away because we thought it was worthless. There's probably some really nice Pokemon cards in landfills all around Australia that would be worth a lot of fucking money.
So there is a Stargate trading card game, and you can get the entire card collection for $20.
That's pretty reasonable.
So I wonder if it's worth playing. And isn't there a Warhammer trading card game?
Oh, there'll be. I'd assume so. Tabletop trading card, the whole lot. Yeah.
There's probably a Marvel DC trading card game.
There was one I saw when I was a kid that my brother was collecting. I don't know if it was Marvel. I'm not good with the superhero stuff. Like, I know it's a dumb question, but like Wolverine and shit. Which one is that?
Marvel.
Is that Marvel?
How do you not know that, Shabisky?
I don't know that. Then yeah, I like those trading cards. I remember seeing those when I was a kid, and those were really well made as far as I remember. They looked really cool.
Now, one thing I was looking into, like the Star Wars, Star Trek trading card games to see if they were any decent, and in forums people said, I got to look it up. They pointed to this one really popular trading card game, and I think it's the fifth, sixth most popular trading card game after like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all of them. And it's called like Star Realms or something. So apparently like that's the game you're supposed to play if you want to get into like trading card games, or if you want a space opera sci-fi starship trading card game. And that also has like a digital like online version like Pokemon and Magic. God, everything got quiet.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
your
just reading
mother's
chat,
messaging
sorry,
me. She wants this D. Okay, I gotta respond. All right, can't be
Yeah, it's
ignoring her.
Star Realms, and they have a digital version available on Steam,
Yeah.
and it's free.
Ooh.
So it's like a starship space opera pew pew lasers trading card game, unlike Magic, which is all like fantasy and magic. And like Comixology, which is like a digital comic subscription service. I started getting into reading comics. They have like a Magic the Gathering comic book series, and the plot is so convoluted. So it's based around planeswalkers, and pretty much there's an infinite amount of planes and dimensions, and it's like they all have their own narrative and their own group of characters and their own like laws of physics and stuff like that. And there's some that have like a weird fantasy-esque sci-fi like element, and like there are creatures that exist in one plane that don't exist in another. And this character will walk into this plane that has a doppelganger of itself, and it goes into this plane. So the Magic the Gathering narrative is its lore is very complex and very difficult to follow.
Yeah, seems like it. Quick announcement. Pimpmunk just typed something in the chat. Boogie 2988 will be on the wood in a few weeks.
Really?
Yes. So make sure to tune in for that one. Should be good. And don't forget, folks, if you could throw a few bucks in the kitty, it'd be much appreciated. And everyone that donates, John Morgan is going to help top up the fucking tip train. Again, thank you, John. Very awesome. And on with the shenanigans. So yes, when we get a definite date, we will let everybody know about the Boogie 2988 show. So thanks, boss, for letting us know. You're awesome. Ooh, what's this? So apparently in the Australian Senate, people have been fighting over the definition of what meat is. There's some salty soy boys from the fucking cattle industry that don't like plant-based proteins being called meat. They're very sad. And also, the dairy industry is getting annoyed with people referring to nut-based watery substances as milk. It's like, oh shit, we're going to fight about that now, are we? Apparently, yes, in Australia, we're so bored with dealing with COVID, we're now going to argue about what meat is in the Australian fucking Senate. It's not like we've got more important things to worry about, like rolling out a vaccine or any of that shit. Let's argue about what meat is. Raw.
Well, like
politics.
Like vegans, what I don't get is like when it comes to like mollusks or like oysters and stuff, like they're technically animals, but they really don't have any sentience. Like they don't have a brain or anything. So I mean, they're no more sentient than a plant. So like I don't see what the issue is with like eating like those kind of like aquatic animals.
Well, here's the thing about plants and stuff. All right, I've got to word this carefully because I don't have a very good understanding of it. They don't have a brain the way we understand it, but they can still learn behaviors. And yes, they fucking learn, John. Plants learn. So the experiment was they sit the plants in a room and the light would be turned on in a certain direction. And they use sunflowers. And as you know, sunflowers are very photosensitive. And as soon as the sun comes up, they're basically waiting for the sun, where the light's going to be. They've already orientated for that. But what they did is they trained these plants is they'd move the light, but 10 minutes before they turned the light on, they'd switch a fan on that was blowing from the direction the light would come on. You know what the plants learned to do? Orientate themselves towards the fucking goddamn breeze to get ready for the light. So they learnt that behavior. How did they do that without a brain? Well, maybe they have some way of storing information and we don't understand it yet. And that's as far as I'll take that. But plants can learn behaviors.
Yeah, they do. They respond to stimuli. And I know like carnivorous plants, they do have like sensory memory. So it's something like the insect has to tap on the plant like 2-3 times in order to trigger the impulse. So plants do have sensory memory. And then there's like the walking plant or the walking tree that will grow its roots into the like direction towards the sunlight, because like all the other trees in the like rainforest, their adaptation is they grow really tall in order to absorb the sunlight from all the other smaller plants. So the walking tree, it adapted in order to grow its roots out to an area that actually has more efficient sunlight. And Billy Gray says it's all about Gene or John.
Oh, no.
What are you trying to say, Billy?
Yeah, so the way plants keep memory or information stored to learn that shit's interesting. It's like the sunflowers learnt not to react to the light, but they learnt to react to a new stimuli. That was the really cool thing. It was like they're not just reacting to light. This is reacting to stimuli, a new stimuli, and it's learned a new behavior, because it worked out after a few days that the first few days it kept facing the normal orientation, but then it started to go whoop and whip around to where the breeze was coming from before the light turned on. And that's kind of fucking cool. So, yeah, we're learning a lot more about the planet or the universe around us, as Landon would say, and we know nothing. There's so much more to discover, and it's really, really cool.
Plants' lives matter. So plants have some level of sentience, so we shouldn't eat plants either.
Well, one can argue that, because we can demonstrate that they learn behaviors, and then you start getting into the argument of what is sentience. And I think that's one of the checklists, is that it responds to stimuli, it can learn behavior, and it also responds when you start ripping leaves off it and you hook it up to a little readout thing. You can see the fucking waveform go, and it's basically a plant scream when you start ripping into it and ripping it out of the ground and shit. They'd respond to that too. So to say that's why when vegans go, I eat plants, because it's like, well, they still know that you're ripping them out of the ground. They don't scream like a fucking lamb when you cut its fucking neck, but you know what I mean. It's all about levels of what you find acceptable, and vegans are just fine murdering the fuck out of boatloads of plants to consume them, because they don't have eyes, little cute faces and stuff, and that's cool. All I'm saying is, if you introduce yourself by your dietary practices and then your name, just swap those two around and maybe don't tell people you're a vegan, because no one fucking cares. There you go.
Yeah, Gene.
Well, Billy Gray says you need to eat meat. I guess that's kind of true if supplements didn't exist, because of B12.
Big brains, mate. All the protein that we ate. We are the apex predators. We got the forward-facing eyes. We sweat. We got the endurance. We are the apex predator on land. Anyway, get in the water, we're sort of shit out of luck at that point.
Well, I mean,
around on land.
We definitely evolved to eat meat.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to like vegan diets where you don't eat anything that comes from an animal, I'd say that until very recently with supplements, it wasn't really possible. And really the only way to get B12 outside of like meat would be yeast, which is still like it's bacteria, but yeast is like, unless you eat like yeast or fermented foods, it's pretty much impossible to get the B12 that you need.
Yeah, unless you eat lots of Vegemite. Hi, from Australia, and still eat meat because steak's delicious and cheeseburgers are awesome and fucking pepperoni pizza. Well, it's just orgasmic. Come on. You got to eat fucking... And, all right, you don't want to kill it yourself? That's cool. Butchers are doing that for you these days. You don't have to go out. I tell you what, there'd be a hell of a lot more vegetarians if you had to slaughter your own meat still, because it's not much fun killing stuff and then chopping it up. My dad used to run an abattoir, so yeah. So I get why people don't like it, but come on. Cheeseburgers are fucking delicious. And a ribeye fillet. Oh.
When Vlad says you can eat crickets to get the protein, well, crickets are still animals, so it's still meat.
Yeah. I'm down with protein. So like if I've run out, there's no more cows and there's just bugs, it's like, make me a bug pizza, god damn it. We'll make it taste good. We have the technology. What do you say? Do you want a bug pizza, Shabisky? No?
I mean, there's
I'd rather eat Gene.
there's like nuts and beans. So there are certain foods that are rich in protein or plant-based foods, but you can still get a lot more protein through meat. And then when it comes to the amino acids, there's a much like smaller variety in like nuts and beans or like plant-based foods that you can get protein from. So it's still a much more efficient alternative to just eat fish, because fish are very much more dense in protein compared to like any sort of like nuts or beans. Plus, they got a much greater variety of amino acids.
You're also fucking delicious. Like
Yeah.
barramundi, oh my god, delicious. Fish burgers, delicious. Whiting fillets dipped in seafood sauce, oh my god, to die for. And prawns, don't get me started on crustaceans and sea insects. Sea insects are where it's at. Fuck eating goddamn crickets. Let's just fucking eat fucking sea insect. Prawns are fucking delicious, dude. Moreton Bay
Shrimp.
bugs. Yeah, all of that stuff. Fuck yeah, dude.
Now, one of the problems is like when it comes to fish is because of pollution, like mercury. So if we weren't polluting the environment so much, it would be very easy to farm fish. And it's much better for the environment than farming like cows and these like large cattle and livestock. And and then there's aquaponics, where it's like this, I guess, like this perpetual kind of like energy flow where the plants feed the fish, and then the fish excrement helps provide like it helps sustain the plants. So I'd say aquaponics should be the alternative to factory farming, and us eating
Plants
that?
feed the fish in that
yeah,
setup?
the plants. Pretty much the algae and everything that the plants attract near their roots and everything.
You're creating an ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's bacterial, and then the plants get going, and then the bugs come along and eat the plants, and then the fish come along and eat the bugs, and the fish poop, and that fertilizes and helps the plants. It's like my fish tank when I started out. I had 2 or 3 fucking Java ferns. I've got 50 of the fucking things now. I'm actually going to get rid of my fish tank because it's just a chore now. But that thing, 2 or 3 plants turned into 30 plants in 2 years because the fish pooped. It's just this little wicked ecosystem, and if you get it balanced right, they fucking go well. Like Shabby's people have kept tanks, and you know when your tank's doing well, the plants are rapidly growing, the fish are healthy, the water's crystal fucking clean, no smell, and it ticks over really well with minimum input because there's the plants. It's an ecosystem that's balanced and it's working. There's guys out there that get it set up a tank and they seal it. It's just an enclosed environment. They just set it up so there's bacteria in the gravel with some plants and a couple of fish, and that's that. And the thing just kicks off and keeps ticking over.
Yeah, and it's a good alternative to factory farming because, I mean, livestock, it consumes large amounts of energy. So like the water that you need and the feed for all the like cattle consumes like a shit ton of resources. The livestock produces tons of methane, and then there's all the pollution from the factories, and then they need to like fortify like the food that they feed the cattle with a ton of antibiotics because they like have them in the like enclosures and everything where disease spreads rapidly. So in order to keep the livestock from like infecting one another, they need to feed them antibiotics, which causes like the bacteria and the viruses to build an immunity to the antibiotics. And if we weren't factory farming And if we weren't feeding the livestock these antibiotics, like there pretty much wouldn't be much of a risk for them developing immunity.
You're correct. Oh, look at the time, Shabby. What do we do about this time of the evening during the wood show?
I don't know. What do we do in the second hour, Botzilla?
We fucking demand.
Why is no one else
demand?
Why is no one else donating?
Yeah, guys. Pimp's not here today because he's feeling sick and he's having issues with like upper respiratory infection / tooth infection. So if you guys want to help support, I'm sure that'll help Pimp out a lot with his crazy infection he's going on with. He's having. So yeah, guys, tip. There's a link in the description below for Pimpmunk. Every one of you guys that donates, Gene is going to throw a $20 tip down. So come through with those tips, the big fat tips.
And don't
right
forget,
now,
Shabisky's got some linkies down there, probably to all of his cool stuff, and John Morgan will also probably lob a link in the chat to his channel. Don't forget to go and subscribe to all of Shabby's stuff and to John's channel. And thank you guys for all your support. It's fucking been awesome. Very, very generous folks. So thank you very much. Oh yeah. Now, show me your wiener, Shabby.
And the dude said he smoked aquaponic cannabis before. He's probably thinking hydroponic.
No, aquaponics is that a thing? Where it's literally aquaponics, I think, is the one where you just have a PVC pipe and a tiny little bit of rock wool, and then the roots are just hanging down into this pipe, which is dark, and the nutrients just flowing fucking constantly. I think that one's there. Is that aquaponics?
Okay. Well, wait, no, it's what we were just talking about. That includes like a living, like a fish or so, some fish for nutrients for the plant and stuff. Maybe he still meant to say that, but I feel like he meant hydroponics. Again, aquaponics is something where, like they were saying, you don't put in, as far as I understand, you don't have any different source of nutrients. It depends on the fish and stuff to
okay.
Nutrients.
I'm just checking this thing out. So in this illustration, you got the tray where it's like I said, where they're just in a tiny little bit of medium. There's fuck all medium. It's just the roots hanging down into the nutrient. That's getting pumped up from a fish tank, which is then cycling through that and back down through some filtration and then back into the fish tank again. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right. So it couples aquaculture with hydroponics.
Yeah.
Very cool. That is fucking cool.
I'd like to have a fish tank again at some point or something like that. I missed that.
Yeah, I've just had them for so long now, and I've lost that passion, and the tank's starting to look a bit scungy, and my fish are dying from old age, and it's like, yeah, I'll give the fish to a friend of mine, and then the tank's fucking gonna go, and I might build that fucking Hot Wheels track that I've been thinking about doing and fucking around with that. Sort of do what 3D Bot Maker's doing on his channel, because that's cool. I love that fucking channel. And the marble racing channel. I don't know why I fucking love those two channels so much, but watching the dudes race little die-cast cars or the marble runs is just fucking unreal. I love it.
Wonder, do they like build those like Rube Goldberg like marble mazes?
Look, the Marble Olympics actually got sponsored by John Oliver and shit. They got some serious sponsorship, and it was, you just got to watch it. They create a bunch of courses and they come up with really cool little marble games, and they basically race marbles. There's one really cool one where they roll marbles down an incline and they go into like little rafts and they skip across some water and then knock into another marble, and whoever gets to the end for it, they just come up with really cool little marble run ideas, and it's just, I don't know, Pimp put me onto it, and ever since I've just fucking been religiously watching this fucking dude race marbles, and it's It's just relaxing.
Gene, you should become a marble racer.
I don't know. I think I have enough hobbies.
No. Stop. Just do it.
I'm trying to get into like digital Pokemon cards.
No.
I don't know. If I could get enough Hot Wheels track, I'd try and set a world record for the fastest speed set by a fucking die-cast car. And just because there's some really steep hills out the back of where I live. And if you could get half a kilometre of Hot Wheel track, you could probably get one of those things going so fast it'd melt the fucking wheels. Which would be a fun experiment. How fast would you have to get your Hot Wheels cars going before the wheels started to melt from friction burn? Because I reckon there'd be a point where they'd fail. Interesting. I don't know. I might look into that because I reckon if I've thought of it, someone else has probably already fucking done the experiment.
Well, it's plastic, so it's not rubber, so it's a less like durable material. So it would probably be like compared to, because like cars, it's like they can go up to like 80 miles an hour before it starts having notable like before it starts having notable effect on the tires. So I'm guessing plastic would probably be like a lot less than that. Yeah.
Well, in American schools, they have what is it, little car races or whatever it is. Like they have the little aerodynamic things. Well, I watched a dude, and he's this dude that keeps winning the fucking competition. And one of the key things is when you're building your little derby racer, have it so one of the wheels is a little bit higher than the other three. So it's only on 3 wheels, less friction. This dude's fucking worked this out, and he worked out how to get a percent or two of speed out of all these different fucking variables, and he's built them into this one derby car, and it just can't be beaten. And one of the tricks is he keeps one of the wheels just a little bit higher, and so it's only got 3 wheels in contact with the track instead of 4, and that's less friction, and that gives him a couple of percentage points in, and he gets down the tracker quicker than every other motherfucker's car constantly. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know. There'd be several different materials. Silicon won't melt. Ceramic probably be another thing that you could use. Because the track's smooth. It's not like it's running over little bits of gravel and shit where it'd smash that. I don't know. It'd be an interesting experiment to see how fast you could get a Hot Wheels car going down a certain amount of track. You'd have to customize the shit out of that little fucking thing. You're definitely not doing it with the standard one. That thing would just melt. Like the wheels would just turn to slag. Oh, shit. They've just announced, so the exponential growth continues in New South Wales. Oh, I'm not even going to read that article. Fuck off. Show me your Pokemon, Shabby.
Show you my ass.
Hey. Play nice.
Show you my anus hole. Is that what you're looking for, babe?
Yeah. All right. Bitch, I was addicted to, remote control. Oh, yeah. I went through my Tamiya fucking buggy thing. I built a frog. I built like 7 of them. I just couldn't stop.
Built a frog?
Yeah, there's Tamiya remote control buggies. When I was a kid, the cool toy was having a Hornet or the Frog. They were the 2 base models. And they're like little RC buggies, and they fucking hauled ass. Like you could set them up to do like 60, 70 kilometers an hour. They were insane.
Shad, he genetically engineered a frog.
Yeah, made it gay. Like the song says, Alex Jones' song. Turned the freaking frogs gay. Yeah, I love RC shit. RC stuff is good fun.
Yeah.
I had a fucking, what was the boat? It did about 100 kilometers an hour. It was fucking insane. Like this thing had a big LiPo battery in it. Actually, 2 LiPo batteries running into this one big fucking crazy fucking brushless engine, and it went from 0 to holy fucking shit. I'm running out of water rapidly. I better take the fucking accelerator down a notch. So yeah, RC stuff was really good fun. Never got into planes though because that's expensive, and I know that when you're learning, you're going to lawn dart a lot of stuff.
Well, now kids have like camera drones to play around with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shit's cheap, isn't it? You're right.
yeah. Imagine how much havoc kids are going to cause with their drones and their older Karen neighbors freaking out. There's probably so many videos already of people bitching and crying over just people having air drones. Like there was a story, a guy like shot down an air drone, and they were using it for filming. So they were making like an independent film. And the guy's like, in this day and age, you don't know who it could be. It could be like some pervert. It could be ISIS. And it's like, you honestly think that ISIS is just like deploying drones to spy on Americans?
Yeah. From their last little bastion on a cave on some little fucking shitty creek somewhere on the border of Afghanistan and fucking fuck knows where, the last 3 remaining fucking ISIS guys are sitting there with their fucking iPad flying a drone around in America to spy on people, because that's what the Taliban are really fucking wanting. Jesus fuck.
And I like it when like these like
belly
old
tan,
like these old farts that live like this very insular lifestyle, they act like something like ISIS and the war on terror. Like this is something that is completely foreign to what you see throughout all of human history. It's like you do know that like World War I, World War II, like Vietnam, the Cold War, all of these things were a thing. You think that like overseas like military affairs is something that is a product of like modern day. And it's like these people have this attitude of like, oh God, things are going downhill. And it's like statistically war is happening much less frequently. And the wars that do happen have a much smaller casualty count compared to wars in like previous generations. So I find it annoying, like older people, where it's like they never paid attention to stuff as kids, and they think that like human beings not getting along with one another is something new.
Yeah, old people, some of them don't accept change. It's like I try to remain somewhat flexible. You know, that's why I like to say words like yeet and things like that, because I get it. Things evolve, and if you stay stuck in the mud, one of the things I always swore to myself was I'm not going to end up like down the road from where I was a kid. There used to be just a cranky old miserable fucking cunt, and he just rejected anything that wasn't basically made the year he was born. If it was made, it was just weird. He was like nearly a technophobe. Like his car was ancient. He had an ancient he wouldn't none of the shit. He wouldn't get any of the mod cons, and it was just like fucking sad at the end.
Yeah, they're like Luddites, and the annoying thing with them is it's like openness to experience is a personality trait that's associated with intelligence. So the 5-factor personality model that's used in psychology, that's the one characteristic that has the strongest correlation with having like higher intelligence. And these people just fear anything that's new. They're not open to new experience. And then they think they're being like clever and stuff, but it's black and white. It goes against how they did things when they were younger. They're unable to like learn how to use a computer, but then they're going to treat people who use computers like they're stupid and lazy. And it's just like you see with like video games, like even though the science shows that like people like once they get into their mid-20s, they do tend to be set in their ways and they do tend to be like resistant to change. But then like video games come out and it's like, oh, video games are turning kids into school shooters. And there's all this like Fox News fear mongering over video games. And it's like the science and the academics confirm that what you're doing is a sign of stupidity. That like the science confirms that some new type of media or technology comes out and the average old fuck is going to go out of their way to fearmonger and create this black and white, all or nothing, like negative, like conception of whatever it is. And yet you're still doing it. And the science shows that video games don't have this effect on kids. And the science does confirm that like what you're doing is just this kind of innate human prejudice that's a sign of fucking stupidity.
Yeah, and I am totally guilty of shit talk and social media, and I shut my accounts down. But that works for me. I'm not trying to advocate that everyone should abandon social media, because it is a useful fucking tool for business and to promote stuff and to keep in contact with friends, family, all of that shit. It's just I've learned to do what I need to do without being on Facebook, and I kind of don't miss Facebook at all. And Twitter I never got into. I use more gaming related stuff as a social media tool like Discord, and like it's probably my favorite thing at the moment. So, but I get what you mean. I totally get it because I am guilty of looking at some things and just go, that's stupid, and it's because I'm old and set in my ways. So
yeah, like I like Discord, like Facebook. I do get the point, like why people criticize Facebook because, or I guess it's like social media addiction. Like I have like a few hundred Facebook friends. Like I'll use it to keep into contact with people I knew in like college and high school, or like distant relatives. But I don't get people where they're like on Facebook constantly just posting stuff, and it's like, is that what you spend all your free time doing? Is just like posting stuff on Facebook? Like that element I don't really understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that just live on social media, and there's some do Facebook, some do Twitter. Like I've seen some lol cows, and they show some of their tweets, and they'll show how many tweets they've made in a certain amount of time. And there's people out there that have made tens of thousands of tweets in just a few months. It's like there's accounts that have been around for 10 years that do that, and that's fair enough. But if you've got an account that's 6 months old because your old account got banned and the account before that got banned off Twitter, and you've made 10,000 tweets in a month, you may be an obsessive douchebag. Maybe. I don't know. Who am I to judge? I'm a fucking douchebag too. So shut the fuck up, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Shabisky.
What do you want?
Ali says that you have T-Rex arms. Yeah, no. His arms are
Stop
pretty small.
It. You guys are dicks. Okay, I'm gonna beat everyone up.
Internet bullies. Bum bum bum.
Jerks. Okay, I have big muscles. Everyone's jealous. Shut up. Okay. Big dick.
Don't make me get Ali Dean in here to bitch slap you around.
I'll bitch slap you around. I'll bitch slap anybody. I'm the coolest.
I'll fucking do it.
Fucking rip your penis off and put it in the garbage disposal.
We will send her a link, and she will come in here, and she will make you cry.
I'm on you.
She'll make you cry like a little bitch.
No.
Shabisky. No, that's your new name. Is Shabisky.
Everyone knows that I'm a big tough guy. Okay.
No, you're not. Get good, scrub.
No,
and buy your video game character. Listen, bone to pick with you. Why do you keep your video game character running around in bare feet in a fucking goddamn war zone? That's not cool.
Because I want to stand out. I want to be different. Okay. I don't want to be like the others.
What if he stubs his toe and he just has to sit there in the middle of a battle, just like rocking back and forward, going?
I hope he dies.
Yeah, he'll get gangrene.
I hope he dies.
If he had boots on, he'd be fine. And I've seen one of the other people that plays in your game. Everyone's walking around with guns except this one guy's just walking around with a knife going. It's like, never bring a knife to a gunfight. That's rule fucking one.
Right?
Jesus.
He thinks he's big tough or something.
Wait, which character is this that's running around barefoot?
You.
It's fucking Shabby's character. It's the portrayal of one of Bruce Willis's character from fucking Die Hard in the first one where he had no shoes.
Yeah, Jane.
It's a reference to that movie.
For once.
I think they have like the 80s action star pack in Call of Duty. They need to make like Steven Seagal. But they need to have modern Steven Seagal where his belly is hanging out of his shirt. He's in like the leather jacket.
No, he's just in a tank and he's running over puppies. Fuck it. Just do that. That allegedly happened. Now, I don't know what happened with the lawsuit, but the story went that he was doing a TV show with the sheriff's department, and he basically was carrying on like he was running the fucking sheriff's department. And they had an armored vehicle at this raid, and a dog got run over. And apparently Seagal may have been in control of the vehicle. And it's like,
you should have Clint Eastwood, but they need to have like current Clint Eastwood, who's like in his 90s, and he's just limping around.
Yeah, and You know what? Fuck Steven Seagal because go and fucking become a Russian citizen and fuck off for good. Your movies are shit now anyway. Piss off, Steven.
Damn.
There you go. That's my thoughts on fucking Seagal. 80s Seagal, his movies were kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But everything in the last 10 years has been fucking garbage, I think would be a pretty fair thing to say about his movies. They're fucking garbage. That's just my opinion, though.
What about Van Damme?
Van Damme's a fucking legend.
Yeah, they need to.
Are you kidding? That dude did so many fucking awesome movies and so many spinning roundhouse kicks that it's just, yeah.
Universal Soldier, Van Damme, and Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? It's like, got to use all, it's like, ear necklace. Fuck yeah, Dolph, you crazy son of a bitch.
What about getting Tom Cruise in Call of Duty?
Well, no, he'd be more of a Battlefield sort of skin pack so he could fly around in the plane and be Maverick or
Then
whatever.
he's a Terminator.
Well, that would be Schwarzenegger.
Really?
Nah, it's not
So
Schwarzenegger.
the
Really?
same people?
What?
Dude,
No.
I was
I didn't know
watching Terminator with Shabisky, the first one, which he didn't see. And at the end of the movie, they're like, so did he...
Whoa, he lagged out all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, that was a
Weird.
shame. Bloody hell.
Shit, he lagged out
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
We're experiencing.
Oh,
technical
he's back.
difficulties.
Oh,
We
okay.
all right,
No.
satellite feed's back on.
Brought
All
him
right.
back, yeah.
Yeah, we had a
brought
solar
him
flare,
back.
then John interrupted the satellite feed. I do apologize.
Yeah.
Our technicians have taken care of
Yeah.
the problem, and welcome back.
Yeah,
No,
welcome
but,
back, Gene.
Shab was like, so...
What the fuck happened?
John, oh
Dude.
god, solar flare activity
Dude.
is pretty bad today.
We're having a lot of internet issues today. Holy
On a-
shit.
I'm gonna contact
Sorry about
Landon.
that.
He's going to contact his friends at NASA and see what's going on with the solar flares because that's pretty bad.
I'm sorry, everybody watching for the issues we're dealing with here today. Oh, he's back. He's
All
back.
Yeah. All right. Yep.
All right, welcome back, Gene. I don't know what's going on.
Did he fuck
Yeah.
his mom?
Solar flare activity has been really bad today,
Who?
John. We apologize. We're installing some extra
Yeah.
shielding as we speak to try and keep that satellite online. We're good. All right. Back to show, Shabby.
So, have you ever touched your butt?
Yes. Last night I touched my own butt.
Dude,
It
that's
felt
bi.
fucking wonderful.
That's bi as hell.
So hot.
You're a bi guy.
And then I realized I touched my own butt, and I'm like, ew, I touched myself on the butt. I'm a bit bi. And then I felt bad. So I prayed to Jeebus, and that didn't do anything at all either. So I just touched my butt again because it felt good.
Wait, now, 006 mentioned Mario.
Yeah.
And since we were talking about action stars, like the 80s Mario Brothers film, or was it the 90s? The 90s film was terrible. So what if they make another live action Mario Brothers movie and they make it so like Van Damme is Mario and Dolph Lundgren is like Luigi? Or they need to get like Jason Statham to be Luigi.
Yeah.
And he does like all his martial arts.
I've just always pictured John. What's the fucking porn star's name? Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy is Mario always in my life. If you put a Mario set on that motherfucker, that's Mario.
No, Steven Seagal is Mario. Steven Seagal is Mario, and Jason Statham is Luigi. And then they need to get what's his name from Game of Thrones, the little person.
That little
What's his name?
that little fucking Oompa Loompa.
What's
name?
his name?
Oompa Loompa.
God, I gotta look it up. They need to get him to be Toad.
Wow. We just did a racisms, I'm pretty sure. Or a shortisms. What would you classify that one as? A shortisms?
I guess would be ableism. Because it's like a condition and you're like mocking somebody with a condition, I guess.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's prejudice to get a little person to play like a character that's like a dwarf or like an elf or something that's conventionally like short. They do that all the time, like the Munchkins from Wizard of Oz.
Listen,
Peter Dinklage, he needs to be Toad.
This is problematic. What if like, I don't know, retired basketballer Michael Jordan wants to play a dwarf in the upcoming fucking
Mario Brothers movie? He'll be Toad.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm down with that. If as long as we can allow big people to portray little people, but little people aren't allowed to portray big people because they'll need a step later, and that's going to be really hard to film.
You mentioned like,
put them on a trolley and just wheel them around. Have someone leaning down out of shot and just wheeling them around the set. That'll work. Fuck it, we got this.
Yeah, you mentioned like Willy Wonka, like the remake. They had like the one actor who played all the Oompa Loompas. They need to do that where you have all the toads and they're all just played by Peter Dinklage.
Wait a second. They only employed one person and they just duplicated that person to be all of the really?
Yeah, and the remake, the Tim Burton one, not the original.
Wow. I had no idea they did that.
Yeah, so they need to do that with like if they make a Mario movie. Or you mentioned Michael Jordan once played dwarf. So all the toads are Michael Jordan, like in like the toad outfit with the mushroom cap, and they're all just played by Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I need to talk to Tim Burton because he had a missed up. He could have assembled an army of Oompa Loompas, like legit, for realsies. And he chose to digitize one Oompa Loompa into many. Create the army of Oompa Loompas, man. I would have done that.
Wait, so you're saying,
you know what? Fuck CGI. I want 5,000 fucking dwarfs out here. We're painting them orange, and we're going to create a fucking army of Oompa Loompas.
Well, didn't he like his Alice in Wonderland film? He tried to make it like a Tolkien-esque, like war, like fantasy, like war epic.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
He should have done that. He should have done that with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He goes to Oompa Loompa Land, and there's the army of Oompa Loompas.
Yeah,
and that should have just been like half the movie. It's just the liberation of the Oompa Loompas. And,
I need to know the origin story of Oompa Loompas now. I'm intrigued. It's like, where do Oompa Loompas come from?
Oompa Loompa Land.
Right. But how did they end up working at the chocolate factory?
That's the story. Like Willy Wonka's their Spartacus. He shows up and he's like their Lawrence from Lawrence of Arabia. He comes and he helps the Oompa Loompas fight against their oppressors. And who should their enemies be? I don't know, but I like in the original film with Gene Wilder, they're like, Oompa Loompas, where are they from? Oompa Loompa Land. And she's like, I'm a geography teacher. There's no such thing. He's like, what? You've never gone to Oompa Loompa Land?
Apparently not.
No, but they definitely need to do that. They need to make like a Willy Wonka sequel or prequel, and they just need to call it Oompa Loompa Land.
Yeah.
And they need to make it.
I'm down.
And they all use like candy themed weapons.
Yeah. I'm down. Let's do this. Fund it.
Yeah, ain't I creative? Wait, Pimp is going to be pissed at how rude he's been to Gene and Red Eye. Oh, Allie's been saying that Shabisky hasn't been talking. He won't shut up.
Yeah, look, Shabby's just a power-hungry madman, and you know, right now he's going, and I don't know what he's doing. He's probably murdering somebody down in his basement. He does that just for shits and giggles. He likes to inflict pain on kittens too, I heard. You know, just a horrible, horrible person. But I better stop talking about him because you could hear me. He might be listening right now, and if he is, I'm in trouble.
Wait, so you know what? Would be awesome, like Tim Burton, but like earlier Tim Burton, like Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice Tim Burton. What if he directed like a Mario Brothers film, and Jim Henson, like the Jim Henson studio, did all like the puppetry and practical effects, and it was just like Ray Harryhausen like level stop motion, and just like Jim Henson's kind of puppetry with like that kind of Tim Burton gothic flair. And they have like Edward Norton and Stevens or Ed Norton and what's his face, Jason Statham playing Mario and Luigi.
Yeah,
that would be an awesome movie.
We could say, you know what else would really work, I think, is just a zombie apocalypse set in the Mario universe.
Or no, John Belushi. He should be Mario.
Belushi should be.
Or Chris Farley, somebody like him. Chris Farley was still alive, so Chris Farley or John Belushi is Mario, and they're like one of those like fat actors where they can do like backflips and acrobatics. That would be perfect. You need to get the Blues Brothers to play the Mario Brothers.
Oh, God. Chris Farley was a funny motherfucker. I used to love his shit on Saturday Night Live, the life coach shit, and he's just, you'll end up in a van down by the river. God, he used to fucking do some funny shit.
Dude, Shab, what do you think about our like Mario Brothers film idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed it because you weren't here.
Shab's in.
I was getting a coffee, Gene, because my coffee is important, you bitch.
What if we got Michael Keaton to reprise his role with Beetlejuice, but as Mario? He just plays Beetlejuice dressed as Mario. Like same makeup and everything, just with the Mario suit. I was like, yeah, what's doing it? Does the whole Beetlejuice, but it's Mario. I'd watch that movie just to go, what in the fuck am I watching, and how much acid did they put in my popcorn? And I'd keep eating the popcorn because, well, yeah, a zombie apocalypse Mario movie, that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, and
imagine seeing Zombie Kong, dude. That'd be fucking epic.
Dude, Mario needs to have like this special style of like martial arts where, because like in a game you can have it where like you jump on their heads and they kind of get crushed and they disappear. It needs to be this like special style of like martial arts where he just kind of like does backflips and just compresses his body on the people. So it needs to be like this kind of a hybrid between, I guess, like jiu-jitsu and sumo.
I have way better ideas than this, Gene.
All right, Chevy. Enlighten us.
It's just horrible. Okay. All right. So imagine like that thing that chicks stick in their pussy on like Chatterbait or whatever, it vibrates, right? But imagine like you play a video game, and then every time you mess up on the video game, the vibrator goes, and so you're like playing the video game. Oh, I fucking and then if you get an orgasm, you lose, or if you come, you lose, or whatever.
Oh. 006 says who would be,
or it could be the opposite, where every time you do good, it vibrates more.
Wait, 006 I don't know what made more would sense. Be Pete.
Shut up, Gene. I'm telling my awesome idea. Okay.
Whoopie Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg would be Pete.
All right, Shab.
Bitch.
Let's try and improve
with a good
this.
idea.
We'll try and improve your concept here. So instead of like a dildo causing pleasure, what if you got, that shock collar that Ben was wearing?
Well, it's not a dildo. It's a little thingy.
A little buzzy thing. All right. Well, what if you got like that shock collar thing that Ben was wearing, but you shove that up your butt, and then every time you did bad in the game,
so that could be implemented into like a shock collar, and every time you do bad, fuck. They could be sexual, or it could be just the electrocution thing is still kind of sexual. That turns Gene on.
Just a shock collar and a shock butt plug.
Yeah.
Boom.
Shocking my booty. Gonna cook my booty. If I do too much. I'm bad at games.
They need to make like a Saw movie where it's just like video game based, where they wake up in a room and they need to play like these really hard video games, and if they fail, then the death trap goes off.
They wake up and they all have to play like Call of Duty
Contra
against each other or something.
Yeah. And whoever loses, the like shotgun collar goes off.
Loser dies, and then like they're like playing, and then somebody dies, and then they actually look, and his head gets blown off in real life.
Yeah,
there's a gun that goes off or something that's set up.
Like in the Saw movies, it's like how they just progress from room to room. There's like a death trap, and
but it's gamey.
Like, yeah, so they progress in the next room, and this room has like Dance Dance Revolution. Then they progress into the next room, and and the next room is just like I don't know, Frogger or something.
Yeah, now you're down. Now I'm down with Frogger. That's like from when I was younger. So I could do all the 80s stuff, like the arcade games. That'd be my specialty. But as soon as we hit some of the newer games like Dance Dance Revolution, let's put the Star Wars dance game in there, just because everyone that gets to that game is just going to just not play it and just want to die instead. That'll be like the hard limit. No one ever gets out. They get to the Star Wars game, they got to start doing the stupid Star Wars dance moves, and they just basically run at the wall and fucking die. Who remembers that Star Wars game? Do you remember that shit? That Star Wars dance fucking
for the Kinect?
What the fuck were they thinking? I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. What the fuck were they thinking?
Well, wasn't it like it was several games in one, and there was like Just Dance, which was the big appeal of the Kinect. So I think they just took Just Dance and they pretty much just plastered Star Wars characters over it. And that was one of
so bad. That I just remember that Han Solo song and the fucking moves that they were doing, and it's just like, what, how, who thought this was a good idea? Who greenlit this for getting funding? And I want to do a welfare check on all the coders to make sure they haven't fucking killed themselves from the shame of working on that fucking project. Because, oh damn, it was bad, dude. So bad.
You're bad.
Shabby, you know what we should do for an episode on the side one day? Just worst video game ever. We sort of put some votes out there and get some suggestions from the viewers on the worst video games they've ever played. And we just do a big hit list of the worst atrocities ever known of the video game world, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, like
Aquaman,
Mech Warrior. That's one of the worst fucking games.
Oh,
no, but
that game sucks.
We played Aquaman for the PS2 and the Xbox.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
dude, that game, like the swimming mechanics were terrible, and the game was just very vacant. Like it was, I believe it was like an open world game in like Atlantis, and it was very rare that you'd come across any enemies or anything.
Yeah, so, Vlad may have just fucking nailed it already with Superman 64. That game is just see, everyone in Chester, Superman 64 was ours. And E.T. on the Atari apparently was another one, which was so bad the legends were true. They actually fucking buried it in a landfill, and they went and found them. They found the relics.
We covered that on the last Pedantic Pedestrian podcast, and it was something. Like there's the Pac-Man game, which the developer made like a prototype, and they ended up releasing the prototype of the game, which was terrible. And they were so confident that they would sell more copies than there were consoles. They produced it was something like there were 12 million games produced, and there was only 7 million Atari consoles.
Yeah, that's not using your noggin. It's like that was just a bad idea.
But
wow.
Superman 64, I actually this was when I was in elementary school, and the N64 is obsolete, so you could get all the cartridges for cheap, and Superman 64 was $1. So I purchased it, and it's definitely one of the most broken games released on a console.
Oh yeah, I remember trying to play that once. I rented it, and I think I spent 10 minutes on it. And you know that feeling you get, like video game nerd talks about, it's like when you go down and you got that one chance to rent a game for the entire week to get that new experience, and the game's shit, and you go, ugh. But then you get games like, who remembers the Desert Strike, the Strike series of helicopter games, Desert Strike, Urban Strike, all of those ones. Those games were fucking just so much fun to play. So we'll do a bad games episode, and we'll do games that you've had a lot of fun playing over the years, because I got like nearly 40 years of video game playing from the ColecoVision onwards. So I've played a lot of good games, and I've played a metric fuck ton of bad games.
You know what's a really bad game?
What?
Have you ever played Vampire Rain?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's like a stealth game. It's like Splinter Cell, but like the level design is just atrocious. And like if you get caught, you're pretty much dead. But there's only like one way to get past each of like the vampires or whatever in the levels, and it's always something that is so cryptic. Like there'll be some manhole or some ventilation shaft like somewhere in the corner, and the game has poor lighting. And it's like, how are you supposed to know that the only way to get from point A to point B is this like very like subtle like entrance or hole in the background where you wouldn't even think to go into that area? And
now, I know why that is. That's a hangover from the day when you used to have basically real early adventure games, and it'd be a still shot, and you just put your mouse cursor over things and click on it and investigate things. And you used to have to investigate every single fucking thing in a room to check for clues, hints, blah, blah, blah. And it's a hangover mechanic from those days that doesn't work in a first-person shooter environment at all, because if you can't see it, you're not going to, if it's not high, that's why a lot of games highlight shit that they want you to go and find, like in Just Cause, all of the special objects in the huge map. There's a highlight, it's like, go right up here to get the special weapon, because if they don't highlight it, how the fuck are you going to know it's there in an environment that's 64 square kilometers of gameplay that takes 3 hours to run across on foot? It's like fucking madness.
Oh, no.
So yeah, bad game design's not good.
Yeah, Zelda games kind of have a lot of that, where it's like how the hell are you supposed to know? Like I remember Ocarina of Time had a lot of scenarios where I got stuck as a kid, because it's like there's one part you had to talk to like the Goron King, and you had to play like the one song Zelda's Lullaby, and it's like, how are you supposed to know that that song is what opened the door?
Yeah, a bunch of crazy shit. Like I used to play this game. It's called Forest Wardener, kind of like Wonder Boy. And I used to be able to finish it at the arcade, but there were certain things you had to do in a certain way, and if you didn't fucking do that, you hit the brick wall. There's many. I don't know. Game design's a funny thing when you start looking back at older games, and when you had the generational change from like a cartoon comic cell, and you click and point adventures to moving into the first person shooter realm. A lot of those early games just got it wrong because they tried to bring all of those old rule sets into this new environment. It didn't work out. But we'll talk about more games the others. Just want to quickly mention, if anyone would like to donate, it'd be much appreciated. John Morgan's going to step up and throw in an extra 20 if someone wants to throw something in the kitty. Because Pimp's very sick at the moment. We need to get him to the dentist. So donations would be really, really appreciated. So thanks to all the folks that have donated. You're awesome sauce. All right, back to talking about random shit. What are the people in chat saying?
Yeah,
They're talking about GameCube.
Yeah.
who told them they could talk?
Well, let's quickly talk about Steam Deck. That's going to be a fucking game changer. That thing's got some serious hardware, and it's got the same CPU as my fucking goddamn desktop, basically Ryzen 2 series. It's a lot of computing power and a little fucking console. I want one. Problem is, when I go to the Steam store, I go, "Hey Steam, can I get one of those Steamy Decky things?" They go, "No," and I go, "But why not?" And then they say, "Because we sold one to Frank because he lives in America. You can't have one because you live in Australia. Fuck you." And I'm like, "Aw." So I can't get them yet. So I don't know if anyone's got Steam open in America, if they can go and have a look at the new stuff coming out. It's the Steam Deck. I want one. Shabby wants one too.
Yeah, maybe. It might be something that comes to good use for me. Whenever I have this new setup put together, Speaking of that, I need to figure out what I'm gonna get for this supercomputer, Botzilla. Am I gonna get Alienware, whatever that's called?
No,
Chab, it's
no,
not a supercomputer. It's a microcomputer because it uses a microprocessor. God, Chab.
Okay,
Stop it, Gene. You're making me look
step
dumb.
below a mainframe computer. You need to learn your computer science, you dumb fuck. How do you not know this?
All right. Just drop the link in chat. For
This
people
guy's
who
a
don't-
piece of shit. I'm gonna beat him
If
up.
they aren't familiar with Steam Deck, that's it. It's basically like the new what's the Nintendo Switch, but way more fucking grunt under the bonnet. Like hardware wise, it's running Steam OS, which is a customized Linux flavor. I want one.
Yeah, it's for Steam. Yeah, you play your video games they're your games that you bought on Steam.
Yep.
And Vlad mentioned Alienware. Like people who
I
are
was
like
saying that as a joke.
Yeah, I know, he was
but
joking.
but people who like will talk about Alienware, they don't know anything about computers. They're so annoying. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Back in the day, though, when they first come out, they were building high-end shit. You paid for the privilege, but if you had the money and you wanted a good gaming rig, you got it. Early Alienware were fucking great. They built high-spec, decent shit, but then Dell got them and they started trading on their name and it became a corporate entity and it lost its soul, so to speak. And it's now just there to trade on its name and sell overpriced gaming rigs that aren't that great. Whereas if we hit something, I don't know what the parts companies are in America. I'll just mention Newegg or whatever parts company we go with. You just build your own rigs. And you also look at what they've got on offer as a pre-built, because the price of video cards are ridiculous at the moment. And a lot of these places build systems and they've grabbed a lot of the good video cards. And you can buy a system for nearly the same price as just a fucking video card at some of these places. It's just ridiculous. So what we want to do is do our homework on the video cards. A little bird told me that the RTX 4000 series will not be released until well into 2022. So we don't have to worry about your video card upgrade anytime soon. We'll just go with it's going to cost though, dude, because video cards are not cheap. In Australia, to get a RTX 3060, I'm looking at $1,200 to $1,500. For 3070, $2,000, and I've seen 3080s and 3090s going between $2,000 to $4,000, and that used to be the price of a Titan video card. And back in the day, Titans were like behemoth video cards, dude. They were like killers.
Now, you know what's annoying? Like Apple users, there's so many like people who are like Apple sycophants that they clearly, and they're so annoying because they don't know anything about computers. And I remember like when I was in like high school, I was in like these AP like programming classes, and like one of my majors was in computer science. And like when I was in high school and college, I'd come across so many kids that don't know anything about computers at all. And then they're like, oh, Apple's better because it doesn't get viruses. And it's like, oh God.
No, Apple's a way more secure environment than a PC or Android. That's a fact.
Yeah, but
that's a fucking fact. And if you run your Apple device like I run my Apple device, where I don't download any other apps, it's just like whatever came from Apple with the phone, that's it. And I don't use it for internet shit. It's an incredibly secure device. If I turn off fucking Bluetooth and all that shit, it's nearly unbreakable as a fucking secure device for messaging on the Apple network because it's encrypted. Now, it's a sealed environment. It's way safer than fucking goddamn Windows or fucking Android. That's a fact. Is it foolproof? No. But they also release software updates really rapidly. And more often than not, they don't break shit. They do make mistakes. They're not perfect. But I hate admitting it, but I'm now using Apple iPhones from this point on, not because they're so awesome and have all these bells and whistles. It's just a pretty fucking secure device when I compare it directly to an Android or a Windows-based cell phone. And Windows-based shit is not secure. That comes with day zero vulnerabilities that can brick stuff. And you want to talk to Landon about that, because Landon's a fucking expert in this field, and Landon can tell you that when Windows 10 was first released, if you're a naughty boy, you had the means to walk around the shops, unopened Windows 10 laptops, and fucking brick them. Day zero vulnerability. That's how fucking bad Windows is. Windows is a broken piece of shit. It's been broken on layers and layers of lazy coding and fucking errors. It's like operating systems shouldn't have errors. Landon's got a fucking Linux system that's been running before he moved. It was online for fucking 7 fucking years. 7 fucking years, right? Good luck getting 7 weeks out of a Windows desktop without it falling over completely and fucking dying. And it's generating errors as it's running. What the fuck? What the fuck, Microsoft? What the fuck?
Well, I mean,
we've all been conditioned to accept this shit. That's the crazy part. We as consumers have been fucking conditioned like cows, and we accept Windows in its broken fucking form, where we have to buy antivirus for it, or we're vulnerable to fucking really bad shit. And even with that antivirus, we're still kind of vulnerable because they got to update it constantly because they're one step behind the bad guys. We've been conditioned to accept broken, shitty software. That's a fact. Anyway, I'll stop ranting. Landon will probably be pissing himself laughing about now. But Windows is broken.
Windows is more open source. It supports a wider array of different programming languages. And plus, if you're like a cyber criminal, like more people use it. So it's just going to like attract more cyber criminals. But the thing is, like when it comes to malware, like anybody can program malware for any OS. Like even in embedded OSs, you can program malware for them. And it's like it's the same thing with Apple. Like if I wanted to program some kind of worm or Trojan for Apple, I could if I wanted to. The problem is that if you create an application, you pretty much have to like create an alternate version of that program for it to work on a different OS. Now this has changed because like with Java, like you have compilers that can easily convert it to one OS to another. But the other issue with Apple is that their computers, the hardware is just so overpriced. Like I had a friend that I was talking to on Skype in like 2012, and they're like, well, like what is the big difference between Apple and like PC? Like, is it a good investment? And I just opened up Amazon and I showed him like a $500 desktop. And then I showed the MacBook Pro, which was like $2,500. So it's 5 times the cost, but the specs, it's like a third of the specs. And like Apple, they sell like computer hardware that is incredibly expensive, and you can pretty much get any other like brand of desktop or laptop that has like 3-4 times the amount of specs for like 5 times less the cost.
Yep. No, the pricing's a bit shitty. I'm the first to admit that, but they're addressing that. Funnily enough, the last generation, and I've got to use iPhones as an example, a couple of $100 cheaper down here. Like there are sub $1,000 iPhones in Australia, and that's the first time I've ever seen that shit. Other than the little tiny SEs, like we're talking the iPhone 12 mini is fucking $864 for the 64 gig version. And that's a solid little fucking phone with a great camera, with a really kick-ass fucking processor in it. And Apple's main gig now is not to sell you hardware, it's to get you into their environment and sell you all of the services that they do. They're making fucking so much fucking money doing that. They don't have to worry about hardware so much, but they've also learned that hardware sells. And it's like, I'm not running out to trade my iPhone 11 in for an iPhone 12. I'm going to wait till probably the 14 before I worry about looking at a new phone. So they're not making that much money out of me, but it's back to the security. It's a more secure environment than Windows and Android. It's not perfect, but it's harder for people to get up to shenanigans in the Apple environment than it is a Windows environment. Like I can just got to look around the world, all of those ransomware hacks, I bet you the vast majority of those took place on Windows environments or Linux environments. Like the hospitals around, we had the nursing homes in Australia got ransomware hacked, where my sister's girlfriend sister works. They're all of their records got sealed off in a ransomware hack. Medical records, everything. They had to pay the fucking Russians dude the money so they could medicate their fucking old people and to prevent them from dying. That's how good they are. They target these people now where it's like critical information and go Bitcoin or no info, and they had to basically go and buy a bunch of Bitcoin and give it to the fucking hackers so they could get the medical stuff back, so they could get the doses of the medication right. That's well. Anyway, it's crazy.
One problem there is you got to put some of the blame on like the users. So like when people get malware, a lot of times it's because they're visiting sketchy sites and they don't exercise caution when they're downloading stuff.
I disagree. It's back down to the OS and Windows being so fucking broken and easy to fuck with. And Android's open source. You can just go in there and play around with it. Whereas an Apple environment's a lot harder for people. I taught Lan, he's currently programming something so you can run a check on your Android or your Apple device or whatever it is to see if it's a certain piece of software is put on there. Basically spyware that, you know, the Saudi Arabian journalist that was murdered by the regime over there, they used that software on that guy, and that's how they tracked him and got him. Well, Landon's working on this bit of software where it will scan a backup of your device and look for any tactical fuckery. And why it's easy to do on the Apple device is you got to do certain things to get to certain other things, and you'll leave fingerprints around and little telltale signs of your tactical fuckery. Whereas in Windows and Android is like open source. You won't even know anyone's been in there. So talk to Landon's the expert in this field. He'll explain to you why his preferred environment is an Apple environment for doing anything involving money and the like. And I'm not trying to sell anybody an Apple device here. I was the biggest hater on Apple, and I still think some of their business practices, like the right to repair, get your shit right. I've seen inside your fucking goddamn iPhones. They're modular as fuck. We can upgrade and fix and repair these fucking things, but you put cock blocks in place with software that prevent people from putting new parts in their phone. Get fucked, Apple. That's a disgusting business practice. If there's such a green company, why aren't they letting me repair my device easier? I've got to take it to their shop so they can run the Apple software to new part gets recognized and your phone works properly. If I put a new camera without running that software on it, my iPhone gets crippled and loses a bunch of functionality. That's bullshit. And they've done that by design through engineering and software. Fuck off, Apple. Right to repair is a thing. I don't want this thing in a landfill. If I could keep this phone going for another 10 years, I would, by just replacing the battery every 3 or 4 years. The rest of it will last. It's just a shame that they don't embrace that thing more, but I also understand why they don't, because the way Apple iPhones and the way they're built is they get a block of circuitry made in China. But the Chinese don't know what part of that big chunk of circuitry is going to be the iPhone or the iPad, whatever. That's then taken to another Apple factory where they'll then they'll short it all out in certain spots and run it and then take the part that they want, and the rest gets chucked. And that's why you don't see the Chinese exactly copying iPhones, because they know how to make the block of circuitry, but they don't know what part of it makes the actual device and where to short it out. Lan will explain. It's really cool how they do it, and it's smart, and it's prevented people from copying their shit.
Yeah, so but it's one thing to like mention about like the Windows OS being less secure. Like one analogy I like to use, because people do bring that argument up a lot, is it's like living in a small isolated town in the middle of nowhere compared to living in a major metropolitan city. It's like, yeah, you're less likely to get sick due to spread of disease. You're less likely to get mugged. But then you look at things like job opportunity and goods and services available to you. And in the end, it's just a much more, I guess, kind of vacant environment. So, yeah, like with Windows, it's a lot easier to program things for. So like people who are like novice programmers and stuff, it's much more accessible. And because of that, it's much more vulnerable as well.
Well, so funnily enough, you just touched on the other big part of the problem is programmers. they have this special gift given to them for some reason. You ever notice when you grab a bit of software, it says, by clicking on this thing, you basically give away all your legal rights to hold us responsible for any damage we do to your shit. Their little get out of jail free card has made a lot of coders incredibly fucking lazy and inept at their fucking jobs, and they fucking put out shitty, shoddy fucking code, i.e. look at all the games that come out that just fall flat in their face, Cyberpunk 2077, or a plethora of fucking games that don't function. Warner Brothers have had to withdraw games off the market because they were so fucking broken. Coders are lazy cunts, and they've got this get out of jail free card, and that needs to be fucking pulled out from under them so they do their jobs properly. And you want to talk Landon? Landon's a coder, and he's been around coding longer than most of these fucking snot-nosed punk kids that call themselves coders now. So do your fucking jobs properly, you lazy little fucking snot-nosed brats, and fucking learn to fucking go over your code and I don't know, beta test it in a closed environment, find the bugs, fix them before you release it into the fucking wild, you lazy little sacks of shit. P.S. Landon says, get fucked, you lazy little cunts.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Motherfuckers. Bitch. Tell him, Gene. Yell at him.
Seriously, it's fucking coders are fucking lazy pricks.
Come on, Gene.
Do your fucking jobs properly, you fuckers. There you go.
Get mad,
How's that
Gene.
for a hot take?
Get mad, Gene.
No, that is a serious. That's honestly a big problem. Is lazy fucking coding, deadbeat coding.
Lazy Gene not getting mad.
It kind of works good enough for release.
Landon working for like IBM.
Well, Landon's dad was running around working for what was the telephone company? Is it Bell? And they got one of the first computers. Landon used to fuck around and make that thing do things that the scientists at the establishment. What did you just do to make it do that? And Landon went, I'm just doing things to it to see what it'll do. This is when he was a fucking kid, dude. So you know, what's the Berkeley distribution? You're aware of that, and how it's basically the grandfather of all fucking operating systems. To put the way Landon put it, as an architect, he designed one room in one corner on one floor of that hotel that became the Berkeley distribution. He was there, dude. He fucking helped code the fucking Berkeley distribution. So listen to Landon when he speaks about computer coding, because he was there at the fucking beginning of it all, dude. He's like one of the OG fucking dudes, man. When it comes to the fucking computers, Landon knows his shit. He's created a system where stuff gets randomized and fucking encrypted with fucking lava lamps. Dude's next level when it comes to that sort of stuff, and that's why I listen to what he's got to say. And yeah, because he's been there, done it, bought the t-shirt, and he's got the fucking movie rights. Believe me.
He was working on those like huge mainframe computers.
Oh, he was working on the array that he had at Cisco is just this huge. It was the render farm that did stuff for Star Wars. Like Landon was part of a team that got Star Wars out in a crunch. He used to simulate planets. Like he could simulate fucking planets, dude, with this thing. It was this shit, and it wasn't just all new. It was this mixture of older and newer technology of computers. It was this. It's nearly alive, dude, and that's what he did for years at Cisco. He was in charge of this thing and other neat projects, and he worked with Mythbusters, and he's got so many cool stories, dude. When Landon's channel goes live, he's going to have like a metric fuck ton of the coolest stories you've ever heard to tell. Like the Mythbusters one is really awesome. The project they did with them. I won't do too many spoilers, but it was on. I don't think you see Landon on the episode, but you see what he was working on. And if you remember the one with the boat, and they're trying to get the thing to be stable, and the water bobbing up and down to try and keep the camera pointed or whatever, trying to get it on a fixed point, and like that gimbal system, they worked on that, and that was fucking cool.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
told me about that.
Oh, dude,
I really want to talk to Landon about some of the stuff.
No, he doesn't like you.
Oh.
He told me. He said he doesn't like you.
Like, you guess what he does for fun. That's the fucking best bit about Landon. What he does for fun, he gets in fucking planes and he travels to the South Pole. And then he walks around and he sent me these photos, and without perspective, you don't realize how vast this place is, right? So he's got this photo of this valley and a mountain, and I'm thinking, oh, it's a nice mountain that's maybe a kilometer tall. It's like, no, it's miles tall. The fucking expanse between him and the mountain is several fucking miles, and there's crevasses there that are deeper than you can imagine. Like, you fall down some of these crevasses, they're not getting your body out. You're buried down that crevasse. Goodbye, see ya. And he goes down there looking for meteorites for fun. That's Landon's idea of fun, is going to the South Pole and finding tiny flecks of metal that have fallen out of the sky and gone into the snow and ice, and just sit there waiting for Landon to come and find them.
Yeah, so he's gone to Antarctica. He's gone to North Korea.
He's gone under the North Pole. He's gone over the North Pole as well. And when I mean under, he was in a submarine and cruised under it.
And he's programmed some of the earliest computers for Cisco. He was part of Part-Time. Yeah. He needs to... does he have his own memoir or autobiography?
I nag him about writing a book. And look, that's just the tip of it. And then when you start getting into some of the cool humanitarian work that he does not seek any fucking glory or thanks for, he has done some mad shit, dude. Like, mad shit that people don't know about because he doesn't fucking go around blowing his own trumpet. And I'm not going to say what it is, but let's just put it this way. It's monumentally huge, the amount of shit that he's done for people. Like, fucking big. Like, I will let this slip. Just through a series of very cool, fortunate mishaps and boo-boos, $80,000 ended up getting raised for a charity that they donate the money to orphans so they can go and finish their university courses. So just knowing Landon, I've become aware of this story where something was supposed to happen, then something else happened, and a bunch of people went, oh, shit, and then a whole bunch of people come together, and all of a sudden, $80,000 fucking dollars get donated to this charity so a kid can fucking finish his university degree because he just recently lost both his parents. How fucking awesome is that shit, dude? And that's not to mention all of the people he has facilitated in doing internships. Like, he has got an army of fucking former interns out there in the world that have just think the sun shines out of his bum because Landon gave them these opportunities that no one else could get. Landon likes to open doors for people, mate. He's pretty awesome sauce. Not as awesome as Pimp, though. Pimp's just a big, sexy beast. Hope you're feeling a little bit better, boss. Anyway, I'll stop fanning out over Landon. Just, if you want to talk to him about computing, yeah, talk to him about where he was during the Berkeley distribution and just his thoughts on the evolution of computing, because he's got some fascinating fucking insights into the whole thing because he was fucking there and fucking around with the earliest computers, and he's still here fucking around with the latest and greatest.
You're lying.
Yeah, Fishlamp. The Amnesty International works that program that searches backup of your iPhone or other devices to look for tactical fuckery from governments, basically. Like the Saudi Arabian regime that installed that software, the guy somehow was tricked into getting the software installed on his phone. They could then track this dude, listen to what he had to say, and they eventually invited him around for a chat, and they fucking murdered him. So Landon's now developing the software, and he's actually beta testing it now because that's what responsible software goes. Imagine releasing this software and it started giving out false positives, or even worse, it missed out on fucking tactical fuckery and someone died because Landon didn't make sure his code was running properly. That's why Landon explains, he said, coding's very important because in this modern day and age, lives depend on code now. Planes, automobiles, just about everything, power distribution, machines, everyday appliances. Shit's important, and I think he's right that the get out of jail free card is like, if you click here, we're no longer legally responsible for our fucking shoddy fucking work. No other fucking industry on the planet gets that free ride, do they? Except governments when they're on the floor of Parliament, they have parliamentary privilege. Why should coders have parliamentary privilege for life? Fuck off. Come and join the rest of us where we're held responsible for our shitty actions, you deadbeats. And that's hashtag not all coders. There's a lot of dudes out there with integrity that give a fuck about what they do, which is why the world hasn't blown up yet and Skynet hasn't murdered us.
Yeah,
now,
I'll stop ranting about.
Have you heard of the Stuxnet virus that destroyed like the nuclear program in Pakistan?
Yes.
So
it fucked with the centrifuges. Yeah.
No.
So that's opened the door up for
like the Israelis.
Cyber. Well, they think it might be the U.S. or Israel.
The Israelis went, it's basically, again, you know, they just went shalom and went. They went, oy vey, your centrifuge is broke. Oh no, how horrible, oy vey. And then they had a little shot glass and went, shalom.
Yeah, now that's opened the door up for like cyber warfare. And I know like North Korea actually has like one of the like top 10 like most like efficient like hacking, like pretty much like cyber warfare like units or whatever.
All right, I'm going to share this thing in chat. Now, I was actually going to do a idea for a show based on this website. So what this is the live cyber threat map. So far today, there's been 126,710,459 attacks today. All right, I'm going to link this in chat because this thing is like a real life little shenanigans thing of people launching attacks to other places. So right now, United States is attacking Belarus, Germany, Portugal. Hong Kong just attacked itself. Hold on, I'll put this link in Streamlabs so you guys can see this shit. I want to like just have this streaming and announce it like a soccer match and have a few of my friends just hitting it. It's like, United States just launched a big fucking thing and we'll go, oh my God. Like right now, United States is fragging Japan. Norway's fragging someone. Switzerland launched back at the United States. Oh, we just got hit by America. What the fuck, America? Florida just attacked itself and everyone just expects that at this point. So this is a live sort of representation of cyber warfare taking place right fucking now.
Red guy.
Yeah.
Are you gonna help me with computer stuff?
Yeah, dude. Start putting together a system for you. I'll research the latest. Yeah, well, let's look at chipsets.
This stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about it for a little while now if you want.
Date, Gene. You hear that? Me and Red Eye are going on a computer date.
Well,
a nerd date.
I'll just quickly do a thing in poll chat and say, should I base this build on a latest Ryzen CPU or go with Intel? I would like to go with Ryzen because I think right now they're a better chip than the Intel offerings. That may have changed in the last few months. Someone make me aware of that and we'll look at it, but we won't go crazy like. Well, then again,
Ryzen, that's poisonous.
Ryzen, RYZEN. It's basically the same person that designed the Athlon CPU for AMD back in the day came back and designed the Ryzen chip. And well, just like when Athlon took the big market share for them, they're now I think AMD they're selling chips to PlayStations have got Ryzens. Steam Deck got Ryzen chips, and I think the Xbox has got Ryzen chips. And so it's a Ryzen CPU. We'll find out what memory is required. I'd recommend 64 gig of memory. Just go fucking crazy with the memory, and we'll get 2 good solid states. So one will be exclusively.
I want to go all out with it.
Yeah,
I want to hold back. It's going to be a monster.
My idea would be 2 solid-state drives of decent capacity. One would be exclusively for your OS. The other would be exclusively for games. Other storage drives can be old-school platter drives because you don't need speed for storage. You just need snappy speed for gameplay, streaming, and your OS. So 2 solid-state drives. Rest can be big fucking platters just for storing shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of processing power that goes into streaming and especially streaming while playing like some crazy game like GTA or something. On the computer, I'm talking. Obviously, most of the time I play on console, but I want my computer that I want want to put together. I want it to be able to handle easily me opening up some game like that.
Well, I've been streaming with my computer, and my streams have been perfectly fine.
No, they haven't.
All right,
Hey,
so
Jane.
I'd recommend a Ryzen Threadripper. Now, here's the problem: this CPU is fucking expensive compared to
$2 million.
everything else. Well, it's probably be a couple of G. Let's find out. Let's go on. Let's clicky the fucking goddamn button and find out. So, North America. What do we got here? Let's see here.
You look cute tonight, Gene.
All right. We'll go and look at Newegg. Oh, Newegg. The promotion ended. Wang.
You look cute tonight, Gene.
Shab keeps sexually harassing me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hitting on you, Gene. You got to hit back.
Why do you keep harassing me, Shab?
You're just such a hunk, Gene. I can't help it.
Oh, holy shit. So they're up to Ryzen 7 5800X. That's only $400 fucking dollars. Right, so where's Threadripper? Come here, baby. Where are you? Threadripper.
I was looking at, ever since I seen that there was such thing as...
Oh, shit. All right, hold on to your pants. So there's two problems with Threadripper. One of them is price. So the older Threadripper is 1,148. Not so bad. The what's this one? 3955WX. That's a 3955WX. That one's 5,000. Okay, and that one's not.
That's crazy. But
so we're gonna go back.
Definitely, I feel like you're thinking right though, because definitely like the the process. Obviously 5,000 is too much or whatever. Maybe the 1,000 could be doable.
All right.
But like definitely, I feel like I'm not. Like
I found your chip.
I'm not that educated on computer stuff and whatever, but for sure.
I found your chip.
I would think that's one of the things that's one of the main things to focus on is that processor being badass. Because
I got a chip boner, and here's why. I've got a Ryzen 3700X. It's a decent CPU. It's second generation. This is the third generation. Listen to this motherfucker. Ryzen 9. Mine's a Ryzen 7. 16 core, 3.4 gig socket AM4, 105 watts. So it runs. Not super cool, but not incredibly hot compared to some of your old shit. It's still toasty, so you're gonna 16 cores run at 3.4 gig each core. It's got 64 meg of L3 cache, 8 meg of L2 cache, and that's retailing for $829. It's on sale at the moment. So $1,000 for your CPU budget would be a good idea. We might be able to call in a friend and see what we can
16
find.
16 cores, crazy, holy shit. I don't remember what my computer is that I have now. I feel like it was something like 7. Does that make sense? Does that mean it? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since when I put together the computer, I got all into the computer stuff a lot more and kind of knew a decent, at least a decent bit, but I've kind of lost it over the years since then. Because I built this computer at the end of 2016, I'd say. When I got it.
Yeah, I'm just looking on Newegg at the moment, Flat. I'll do a more in-depth dive when Shabby starts giving me a budget. We'll start shopping around. But any advice on good? Not necessarily looking for the cheapest place. I'm looking for the place with good prices, but a really good reputation for after-sale service. Because if something goes wrong with Shabby's machine, he can't be left hanging with his dick in the breeze for 6 weeks while some fucking random dickhead fucks around doing the warranty thing. So that's why I'm thinking a decent place. Newegg's got a pretty decent reputation. They've been around for a while.
Yeah, I actually have a page open of them. I was looking at dual processors, or not motherboards with dual processor, and I just no.
It's just, why do you need that when I can get you a 16 core fucking CPU and you just jam 64 gig of RAM in that motherfucker? It's going to be a monster, dude. Plus, you got your old box to help take, like, so the old box could actually stream the signal. So you could use the old box to capture video and then stream that out, and that'll take the load right of everything. Will just be going
my old computer
fast. Yeah, you could use the old PC for something.
Yeah, well, it's going to be used for my other streams and stuff that I do. That's my plan. We'll go all out on this computer, and it won't need any help from some other computer or something with taking part of the load.
And you're gonna have an extra computer for your countdowns.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep growing and stuff. And
we'll just get you a water cooler, nice big 360 mil or however big we can get you a radiator. Cooling, important. The other thing I'd recommend too is when summer's getting hotter and climate change, getting in a place where the air conditioned room is going to make your stuff a lot happier than staying in just the heat of where you live. It's because as soon as you start pushing 35 degrees ambient air temperature, computers get sad. They get sad very quickly.
Why you make my computer sad, Gene?
So big water cooler, I would recommend at least a 360 mil fucking thing with a nice big chunky reservoir on it. Nothing custom, like the pre-made stuff being released by fucking Thermaltake and Cooler Master is pretty good.
I've never had a water cooled system, but that would probably be really cool, and I'm sure that's really efficient.
I've been water cooling mine for about the last 5 years, and I just use pre-made stuff, and it compared to the standard coolers, it drops the temperature a fair bit. Although the AMD standard cooler, it's pretty kick-ass and it's designed well, but I would recommend just getting a combo pack with a nice big chunky fucking water cooler in it.
Yeah. Wow. If anybody wants to come through with any support, again, Gene's coming through with $20 for each one of you guys that come through with a tip. Any amount. So if you guys want to come through some tips for the Pimpmunk.
Yeah, no one wants to tip.
Are they mad at me?
Do you guys not love Pimpmunk?
You not love me? I'm Pimpmunk.
Yeah, I'd be really grateful if anyone could spare Pimp a couple of bucks right now. He's doing it real fucking tough. He's been trying to soldier on, but the fucking tooth and the sinus thing's really fucking this time. It's like bad. So anyone could spare a couple of bucks, I'd be really fucking grateful.
Yeah, click that link I'm putting in the chat, guys.
My humble thanks to each and every one of you that have donated in the past too. You're all fucking awesome. Except for Shabby. He's a big poopy face.
Yeah, Chef sucks.
What? Yeah, you guys, everyone on the end that's watching, you notice how Gene copied me? He's wearing a black beanie and he's wearing a shirt the same color as me. You see this shit? He's copying me. You guys see this, right?
I think what you're doing is apophenia.
It's an assertion.
You know what apophenia is?
No,
it's a cognitive bias where people see patterns what that is. Where there aren't patterns.
I didn't ask you whatever that is, Gene. You're grounded.
It's where human beings find meaning through just coincidence.
No. Okay.
You find causation through correlation. That's an implicit bias.
No. I told you, Gene.
Oh, Shabby. I'm already spent $3,000 of your fucking money. I'm looking at video cards now. So I'd recommend the mid ground. Now, some people in chat may jump on me for this. The reason I'm going to suggest the mid ground is price. I can't justify throwing money to 3090 at the moment. 3080, Shabby's doing this as a business. This is a tool. That justification gets me over the line by a fucking hair to recommend a RTX 3080, which is a blindingly fast video card. I've got a 1070, and that was a decent card back in the day. The 3070 is twice as fucking fast as my card, and my card's fucking good still. The 3070 is twice as fast. So a 3080 with 16 gig of RAM would probably be a pretty good investment for you.
That's just a assertion, Red Eye.
Yeah. No, it is. And why am I recommending NVIDIA over ATI, even though the ATIs have got a really nice Radeon RX 6900 XT card out that kicks ass? Driver stability and NVIDIA's ability to deliver stable drivers constantly, whereas the RTI, the AMD stuff, they struggle for the first several weeks with drivers to get them good. They have to revise them a few times. So for stability's sake, I'd advise an NVIDIA card for now.
Yeah.
No, Red Eye.
I don't know if Chad will agree or not, but
you know what you do when somebody calls you out on begging the question or a particular logical fallacy in discourse?
Well, what I do is ignore them usually, John.
Oh.
Just keep rocking.
Why would you ignore them if you're having a debate?
No, Gene.
Well, in a debate, yeah, I'd probably answer them, but oh shit!
You're supposed to repeat what they say in a obnoxious tone.
Oh,
like, that's an assertion.
Repeat what they say, and actually,
yeah, and that just magically invalidates their argument.
Gene.
Everyone strap in. Here's why I didn't recommend the 3090 RTX card over the 3080. I can get Shabby a 3080 for maybe $1,700. The 3090 is $3,500 fucking dollars in America. They're over $4,000 in Australia.
Did you even pay attention, Gene?
What the fuck? What happened to video cards being like $1,200 was like obscenely expensive for the top end video card? Fuck you, cryptocurrency miners. I hate you with a passion now so much more than I ever did before. You assholes.
Maybe we can just find like a really good company that puts together custom stuff like how.
Well, you can do that on like Newegg and stuff. You choose all the pieces of hardware and they'll
put it together.
Yeah, they put it together.
They'll send it out, boxed up, installed, ready with the OS ready to run.
Yeah.
Dude.
Also, I'm just thinking that, like, I don't know what was that company we said earlier? I forgot the name that I said as a joke.
Alienware.
Yeah, like something like that actually is good though. Like where they put together custom.
Everyone's doing that now.
Newegg, pretty much
Newegg
any.
Will do the, yeah.
Best Buy, Amazon, you just choose all the different hardware. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that every major distributor has that option where you can choose the.
Yeah.
I thought with Newegg you just order parts. I didn't.
No, they'll throw it together for you. If you go there and drop $4 or $5 fucking grand down on a table and go, yeah, listen, fellas, can you put that shit together and install the OS and ship that bad boy out to me? Express, they will go. Your ass will be licked rapidly and deeply for an extended period of time.
Gene, give me a dual processor, badass processor.
Yeah, so I will need advice from Pimp's viewers on good stores that are like trustworthy. I'm not looking for the dirt cheapest prices. I want to make sure that Shabby's got somebody to go back to if something goes wrong with the stuff. It's like, because he's spending enough money where the company should give a shit and look after him in future, because if they do, they might get future sales for upgrades and the like. So we'll check out iBuyPower and a few others, Newegg. I've heard of one or two other places that might be worth looking into. There might even be local computer vendors in your town or town over, Shabby, that have an online presence where you can go and grab shit to save yourself a bit of shipping too. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll build you a kick-ass rig, dude. I'll promise you that.
It's gonna be sexy, right, Gene?
No.
Fuck you. It's gonna be hot. Okay. Gene is so rude to me. You see how he treats me?
Yeah.
He's a bully.
Am I harassing you?
You shut up. Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, Shab, I just found you. I found your video card, an Asus GeForce GT 1030, 2 gigabytes of fucking RAM. This thing's a little snub-nosed bastard. It's like about a third of the length of my video card. Yeah, granted, you're probably not going to get over 10 frames a second in Call of Duty when you crank up the fucking goddamn eye candy. But hey,
Yeah, Gene.
you've saved what, fucking over $1,000 just by cheaping out on the video card. Congratulations.
Yeah, Gene. You've
No,
been
we're not
paying
buying-
attention, Gene?
We're not buying that one.
Well, we're just talking about your computer specs.
I know.
The conversation kind of sounds like if you
I
go
was
to like
making
a
sure. I was making sure that you're paying attention, Gene, because
Yeah.
you don't know everything. Okay, and I
Yeah.
want you to learn some stuff.
Yeah, Dirty Monkey, I know that there's all of the issues and prices are outrageous. That's why I'm not suggesting a 3090, but Shab wants to build a kick-ass rig for gaming and streaming. And
Yes.
you can't cheap out when you're building this shit. You got to
Right,
build
Gene?
solid rigs. And I warned him we're going to be spending $4,000-$5,000. It's going to be a lot of fucking money to build a state-of-the-art kick-ass rig, but Shabby's viewers have been helping him step up. They helped him get the table pretty damn quick. So I think Shab fam's going to help him out. It might take him 6-8 weeks, maybe shorter. Who knows? We'll see. But I understand that shit's expensive. It's also because there's a drought in the country where a lot of these CPUs are made. And did you know that when you make CPUs, you need outrageous amounts of fucking water just to build CPUs? And when the country that's been making most of the CPUs hasn't had any rain for like nearly 2 years, and there's a massive fucking drought, it becomes a problem.
Damn. It's weird.
Yeah, I bet you I can sell my 1070 right now for more. I paid a smidge over 500 for it. I bet you I can get more money for it now. Thanks, cryptocurrency assholes. That's the other big factor is cryptocurrency douchebags buying up bulk lots of video cards. And NVIDIA and ATI just went, AMD went, oh no, money. Because remember they came out and they went, the 3070 is going to be $500. Show me anywhere on this planet where you can buy an RTX 3070 for $500. I can't find it. All the ones I'm looking at are over $1,000. And that's in America where they said $500 US. So please explain, NVIDIA, what the fuck happened there. Because there's a lot of gamers that want to upgrade that just can't afford it. $500 is my usual cutoff point for a video card. I'm now having to consider spending $1,200 to get a 3070. That's crazy. It's fucking
inflation.
crazy. No, it's supply and demand, mate. That's what it is. It's not inflation. It's supply and demand. You're telling me that we've had so much inflation that my 1070 that I paid $500 for, when we hit the 2070s, they were at like $750 for the same card, and then the 30 was supposed to be $500, but they ballooned out to $1,500. That's not inflation. That's supply and demand.
There's so many people buying it, and because of the increase in demand, they're able to sell it for more.
Yeah,
Because of
the price is definitely being inflated, but it's because cryptocurrency miners went rah, and they're buying up bulk lots because they've got big stashes of Bitcoin, and they can walk in and go, give me 100 3070s, 100 3080s, and 100 3090s. And what retailer wouldn't take that fucking cash deal? Meanwhile, all the gamers are left sitting around going, and then there's that squeeze on supply, and then they just start jacking the price up. Well, here's the good part is the arse end is going to fall out of video card prices as soon as the vaccination rates get to a point where we're good and there's some rain in Taiwan. Oh, dude, you should see prices in Australia for these video cards. It's like $3,000 in America is $4,000 in Australia. It's fucking madness, dude. 3090s. I've seen it going over $4,000 for a video card.
Well, that's because you guys need to learn to live in the right country.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
Yeah, no, you're right, Vlad. I've got the 1070, and it does chop out a bit in some games. It's not so good for streaming, but you know what? I'm not spending $1,200 on a card. I'm going to wait till the RTX 4 series comes out, because the arse end will then fall right out of the 3 prices, and they'll come down to affordable land where we all live.
Do they have video games in Australia?
No, John.
No.
They're illegal.
Oh my God,
we banned them not long after we banned mangoes, because mangoes were inciting lewd behavior from people that consume mangoes and get all moist and slippery and sticky and shit, and then people would start licking them, and that would spontaneously cause orgies. So no video games, no mangoes.
So you eat like wombats instead of mango?
No. Wombats are our spirit animals. They poop cubes. Why would you kill and eat something that can poop a fucking cube? You worship that thing. It has a magical asshole. It can poop a cube. Don't murder. Poop cubey beings. The beings of the cubey poop. They're to be worshipped. It's like, you know.
Now, just so everyone knows, Shab was laughing at me, not with me.
Well, yeah, because you suck, Gene. Suck my nipples.
Yeah. What we've discovered is that semiconductors are important in this modern age, but corporations like to be greedy fucktards and sorry I use that word, but it's fitting, and like to squeeze profit margins to the point where they went, where's the cheapest fucking labor markets on the planet? We'll go and set up all of our fucking manufacturing there. Well, China and a few other countries, that's nice. Guess what happens when they get their nose out of joint, or there's a pandemic or there's a drought? The limited supply of chips that are coming out of this, or the limited places that are producing chips, they don't produce as many chips, and we run into this problem. So I foresee semiconductor facilities being constructed all around the planet in like a few Western countries, especially. So when we do run into this problem next time, there won't be such a big smack to supply. Because you got to think about this too. All the video game consoles, they're no longer just consoles. They're fucking PCs. They got Ryzen fucking CPUs and AMD graphics in them. They're computers running a different operating system. Is a big market out there now for these things.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because like when we were doing our gaming episode, our old games, like pretty much that's how they tried to market like the ColecoVision and Intellivision. They had these like Atom computer add-ons and everything. And they pretty much tried to hybridize like gaming and computers. And now that's pretty much what's happening again.
You're lying.
No, you're right. And China's, here's the thing, Apple have just announced recently that they're taking some of their manufacturing out of China. Nintendo also announced that they're taking some of their stuff out of China. So it's decentralizing a lot of this stuff out of China. So in the next 10 years, I don't think China's going to be the major player. They'll still be a big player, but they won't be the king of the market anymore when it comes to semiconductor production. You'll have Taiwan. Malaysia, I think Malaysia used to produce CPUs. I think back in the day, AMD used a facility in Malaysia to produce Athlon CPUs. So it's just, they sort of went, oh, we don't make as much money when we make them here. We'll just shift over to here. And that's come back to bite them on the ass now. And they'll learn a valuable lesson. And I suspect we'll be seeing facilities that produce semiconductors popping up all over the world in the next 10 to 15 years, because they're fucking important to everyday existence now, because everyone wants a smart TV, a smartphone, smart fridge, smart toilet, smart tap, smart toilet paper. Yeah, everything. The Internet of Things, as Landon likes to call it. Fucking annoying shit. Stop taking my bandwidth, you bastards.
Yeah, now you can play video games on your like toaster in your fridge.
Oh yeah, and just kill me now. So I walk
Yeah.
past the fridge. Oh, I wouldn't mind a quick round of Quake. Frag. Yeah,
No,
so
but like discussing how they were like hybridizing like game consoles and computers. What's weird is they were going to do that with like the original Xbox, and apparently like that was a death sentence for video games, like for most generations in gaming.
look, here's where the playing field will become even, and we're just about there. PlayStation and Sony and Microsoft and Sony just need to release these two devices and make them very compatible with this. It's called a keyboard and a fucking mouse, because they did some cross-platform studies early in the piece with Xbox. Did you know you used to be able to crash the original Ghost Recon? You could cross-platform that from PC to Xbox, and they let people do that. And you know what they found? People with a mouse and a keyboard would absolutely annihilate the poor fucking guys with the gamepads. So as soon as they make that a mainstay of consoles, I'll fucking buy a console. But until then, fuck off, because I'm not going to use a gamepad to play a first-person shooter, because that's just such a gimped method after you've been using a mouse and keyboard for 20 years. It's like, it feels so unco and unnatural and weird, and you got to have aim assist, all of that shit. It's like, fuck that. I miss playing on a trackball where you could spin the trackball and your character would do 20 fucking spins in the air as it jumped. Like twitch and kill, dude. Yeah. Fucking young kids these days with the gamepad. Get off my goddamn lawn with your gamepad, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Take your goddamn console with you. PC for life. What?
Oh,
Shut up, y'all.
man.
Everything's a PC now, or everything's a console, depending on which way you want to look at it. But it's all got the same fucking hardware in it now. Slightly different software. Welcome to 2021. We should band together.
Michio Kaku's Physics of the Future, and one of the things he discussed is like the chips that are in those like Christmas cards that sing carols, like those are like more powerful than like certain processors they had in like IBM computers like in the 50s.
Yeah.
So he meant. Yeah,
I just want to say real quick, my old Samsung Galaxy Ace, which is like the tiny original version, a shrunk down Galaxy, has way more processing power than the original fucking module that landed man on the moon. My little cell phone has got more computing power than something that, yeah. So you're right.
Yeah,
it's
and he
crazy.
mentioned how like if that chip existed in the 40s, like Hitler, Roosevelt, or like Stalin would have had somebody murdered for that chip.
Oh yeah, dude. They kept like electronics in, and like the British were doing stuff with electronics that I didn't know about. They declassified a bunch of shit recently, and they did some really cool shit.
Alan Turing.
Yeah, oh dude, yeah. What was it Bletchley Park? What's the name of it? Bletchley Park, where he was at, and all of basically the big brains of Britain were there doing cool shit. And you had in America, you had Dr. Feynman and the big brains there doing the Manhattan Project. And Feynman was the one that came in and organized it the way they did mathematics. And that's why they got across the line, because until then they were having an issue with time and doing all the maths. And the way that Dr. Feynman organized it all, I think he broke it all up into segments and got people to work on individual segments and then brought them together and got the Manhattan Project back on track. And the fuckery that Dr. Feynman used to do during the Manhattan Project, my God, have you read his book, Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman?
Yeah.
It's a great book. Shut up, Shabby, because I know you haven't, you fucking liar.
Shab, what was the last book you read, Shab?
I told you already. Do you not pay attention when we're on our dates, Gene?
Cat.
You're an ass. I kick him off the show. Wait, no, I can do that. No, I'm just kidding. What's it called? The Outsiders. Remember?
Oh,
I watched that, and then I watched the movie. It's one of the very few.
You watched that, and then you watched the book.
No, I said I Oh, no, I mean, I
Shabby.
read that and then I watched it. Fuck you, Jane. You're a jerk, Jane.
Am I harassing you?
Shabby
Yeah.
watched that
You better
book.
shut up.
He watches it every time he walks past the bookstore. He squints at it intensely. It's like, I'll fucking get you one day and I'll read you, you prick. One day.
Readings for girls.
It's hard too. It takes time.
I don't got time
Well,
for
that is a big issue. Like in this day and age, like there's so much information to consume, and it's not like prior to like the 80s where like the average household, pretty much your only like source of entertainment was reading. Like now with like television and like Netflix and like video games, the internet, there's so much information to consume outside of books. It's like, where do you find the time to sit down for like 12 and 18 hours to read through a book?
Here's the latest trend I've noticed. There's been this few advertisements on YouTube channels where you subscribe to this service and you'll get an abridged, like a shortened version of a book or whatever. So it says, basically, we go through the book and we found the interesting parts that we found that we might think you're interested in. And they condense these things down into little 10, 15-minute blocks and try and get all the useful information out of it's just like, no, how about you just stop? If you want to learn something, take the time to actually fucking learn it instead of getting the abridged, shitty, fucking cut down version that's not right. And take the time. Things take time. That's the thing about being a creature trapped in a linear existence. Shit takes time.
Gene.
Yeah, but like
Fucking
one issue
dipshit.
is like there are books that have a lot of like excess information. So if you are trying to learn something like a programming language or whatever, like if you take online classes and you look at the amount of information they have you read, like a lot of times, like you don't really need to read like a 500, 800 page textbook in order to learn that information.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, Gene.
But getting the chopped down version of a novel that's kind of silly. Or
yeah, I agree with that.
There's some things that you take time for and you enjoy. And reading and learning used to be like, all right, when I was at school and I was a fucking idiot and I didn't realize the opportunity, like the massive opportunity I had to become a sponge and learn everything I could while I was actually capable of doing so. But learning shit's fucking kind of good fun. Like I've been learning about food basically and the art of enjoying food and pairing different things with different wines. And it's been fucking great fun. 10 years ago, I used to look at wine and I used to call it cat's blood. Ask Landon. It's just like, that tastes like chemicals in a fucking glass. It's obscenely disgusting. And then Landon he asked me a few questions and we went down the bottle shop and he selected 2 wines, a red and a white. And over the next week, we consumed them and a few other fucking bottles. We went back and got the second and third bottles of certain things because they were great. Yeah, dude. Learning's fucking good fun. And I really regret sort of wasting a lot of my youth on surfing instead of paying attention at school and skateboarding instead of maybe going to the library.
I had skateboarded too. Let's skateboard together.
Learning a bunch of trivial facts makes you like a incel neckbeard, red eye.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Back in Gamer Messages, well, back in my day, we used to ride our bikes all around the place. And look, but we used to ride fucking everywhere on our bikes. You can't really do that anymore because of, if you send a kid out in the middle of summer, they'd die of heat stroke now trying to ride 25 fucking miles. It's like, where's little Johnny? Oh, he's in the accident. He's in ICU. Heat stroke, dehydration. He's going to die. It's like, what?
Well, it's also if kids go out and it's like kids don't go out and play anymore. Oh, a group of kids outside playing. Should they be there? I'm going to call the cops.
Goddamn punk kids, get off my goddamn lawn.
Yeah, a lot of it's like Karen culture.
Everything's fucking silly. It's like everyone needs to just tolerate a little bit of bullshit in their lives and things will get a lot fucking better. It's like, yeah, all right. You don't like some stuff. If it's not in your face and it's not fucking with you directly, tolerate that shit. Just tolerate it, It's like, I don't like Shabisky's face. I want to peel it off with a potato peeler, but you know what? It's his face. It's not actually injuring me physically. I just find it incredibly offensive to fucking look at.
Fuck
That's
you!
all
I'll beat
right.
you. Beat your meat. You
So
better back up,
instead of getting a metal brush and peeling off several layers of his epidermis to improve his looks and make him look a bit meatier, I'll leave Shabisky alone to be Shabisky, and I'll tolerate him. You ugly son of a bitch!
Kill you with a Pokemon card, bitch. Okay?
Just run that down your butt crack. Go on. Just
frozen.
All right.
Let yourself out.
Okay, so we're gonna go another 10 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys want to come through with any last minute support, now would be the time, guys. Right now. Click the link I put in the chat. Come through with a couple bucks through Streamlabs like a cool guy. Like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Tell him, Gene. Yell at him, Gene.
Did Shabby tip?
You want? I can put my tip in your dick. I mean, wait. When you're at.
Why is no one tipping?
Everyone's mad because you're
None
here.
of you guys love Pimpmunk. Hey, this audience of people, they've been saying very nice things to me.
No, they don't.
So I paid them to do that, John. So
Yeah.
I'm awesome, and I wanted to give you a good show, John.
Yeah,
You
Gene,
deserve
you're
nothing
welcome.
less, John.
Yeah.
You're welcome, bitch, Gene.
People only like me because I give them money.
Yeah. I'm sure that's not true. Maybe it is. Who knows? Let's ask the people.
I only like him because he sucks my.
Well, you haven't given me any money, and it's not like I hate you or anything, mate. So that's not entirely true. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't get any of the tip money from Pimp Show. This goes to Pimp and Shabby. Because I'm here for the shits and the giggles and the shit posting. And the fun.
Gene.
Shit
And
posting
the
is
dudes.
fun.
Oh, shit posting is fucking great fun, dude. And I've been shit posting since I used to call it flaming on forums. Internet flaming. It's like I used to get in flame wars with motherfuckers. Fuck that. It used to be good fun. It was done so it was artistic. It was like you basically hammed it up to the point where it was nearly Shakespearean in nature and just over the top fucking really dumb shit. And there's actually, that's right. A friend of mine sent me a link one day and there it is. Look at that. Guess what I've got?
What?
Oh,
What?
shit.
What?
No.
What?
No. I had the fuck. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it came good.
What?
This is stashed away in a really old fucking box somewhere, but this is legit. I'm going to share this with chat too, just so the owner of the page can go, what? There's hits? Why? This is the fucking goddamn Flamers Bible, dude. That's the Flamers fucking Bible. Legit. Rule 1, make things up about your opponent. It's important to make your lies sound true. Preface your argument with the word clearly. Clearly, Fred Flooney is a liar, a dirtball to boot. 2, be an armchair psychologist. You're a smart person. You've heard of Freud. You took psychology courses in college. Clearly, you're qualified to psychoanalyze your opponent. Polly Purebred, by using the word zucchini in her posting, shows she has a bad case of penis envy. I'll leave the rest to you and to read for your enjoyment. But this is the legit Flamers Bible.
This is hot.
Posted in 1980 motherfucking 7, dude. This is a legit historical internet document from back in the day.
Gene.
Although World Wide Web wasn't really available
Gene.
until 91.
I was around in some way, shape, or form way before that. Military were playing with it for a while back before then. And then, like all cool toys that the military get, except tanks, sadly, I still can't get a fucking tank that's fully working. I don't understand it, but fair enough. Most of the technology bleeds through from the military into civilian life, which is why we've got these really cool cell phones and all the other shit and micro fucking semiconductors and all of that shit.
Line.
Well, the World Wide Web and the internet aren't the exact same thing.
Yeah, one's the daddy to the other.
Yeah,
I would say.
I know. Computer networks started with government, and then they made their way to universities. So a lot of universities. And then I forget what it was called. Like one big major leap when it came to networking is when they started to, all the universities would connect to one another with their own networks. So there was like an internet between all the like countries' universities. And then it made its way into businesses and households, and we got the World Wide Web.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's an interesting history how they sort of this thing came together that we now call the internet, and how I suspect very soon we're going to be seeing it fragment. And I think what we're going to see is the Great Firewall of China. They're going to have their own internet that's really cut off from us, but they're still going to have the Chinese government part of it that's just going to fuck with the West. And half of their shit, they just fucking, what is it, the 50 Cent Squad or something? It's like a government-run spamming squad that go around social media, and if there's any anti-Chinese sentiment, they jump on it and start basically trying to cancel the person.
Oh, and Russia has something similar.
Yeah, there was Farze. They just recently got caught out they were caught offering content creators money to spread disinformation about COVID-19 vaccines made in America.
You're lying.
Why is that? Well, Landon pointed out there's a couple of old Russian guys that swore black and blue that it's the last thing they do, they'd see America burn. And the other thing is, guess who's selling their own vaccine and like a bigger share of the world market? Sputnik vaccine, ring a bell?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, it's a plausible argument that maybe the Russians employed Farze to go and then hire content creators to put out false information about American-made vaccines and how they were killing people, et cetera, and none of the numbers were true. But luckily enough, one of the content creators went, these numbers sound fishy, and looked into the company and went, oh, fuck, you're a Russian, basically, yeah, you do the promotions thing, great. And they were probably hired by the Russian government, or they're a front for the Russian government. Because Vlad don't give a fuck. He's former KGB. Vlad don't give a fuck. Misinformation and propaganda, that's just been a tool of warfare and Cold Wars for decades, not even decades, thousands of years. I'm pretty sure the Romans used to go around spreading disinformation about their foes and vice versa.
Well, that's what religion's for.
There you go. Bang. Case in point. It's like scare your enemy into submission before you have to fire a shot. That'd be the way to do it. Just scaring the shit out of people so they don't even raise their swords at you. What better way to do that with an almighty God? I shall smite thee. You shall spend eternity in a lake of fire. So, ooh, I better be good.
Like in China, like they have like special browsers, special like social media sites that are pretty much like regulated by the government or distributed by the government, and their internet is like highly censored. And they also have like the social like media or your social credit score.
Oh,
so
hey, hi Chevy, and bye Chevy. Fuck off, idiot.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, he came back with the sock. That's who's been talking the anti-vax shit. It's like, yeah, we know it's you, mate. Give it a fucking rest. Fuck off to another channel and talk that shit. You want to come back and just talk normal stuff? You're more than welcome. But until then, fuck off. Okay? Fuck off. Thank you. Going to grab a drink back in a sec.
What are you doing,
Shut up,
Chad?
Gene. Playing with my wiener. What do you think I'm doing?
No, but
that's why it's called the wood. We're supposed to play with our woods the whole time. Okay,
but,
are you playing with?
You know about the social credit system in China?
No.
Remember Black Mirror?
No, I don't remember that.
The episode where
no.
What was her name? Amber or Ashley?
Yeah.
There was like the 5-star system, and everyone had their own rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, China has something like that where, like based on how much time you spend on the internet, based on like your purchases when you go to the store and everything. They have government cameras everywhere that track like a person based on their it has like facial recognition software, and they're trying to condition people to behave a certain way, and if you don't, your social credit score will actually drop. And if your social credit score gets too low, you're barred from leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not barred from leaving the country, barred from going anywhere. You can't even go to other provinces and shit.
Yeah.
You got to get passes to go from anywhere. And sorry about blowing up at that. The reason I'm blowing up is because lately YouTube have been taking down channels that have any hint of what they interpret to be COVID misinformation. And I've got to be real fucking gnarly and just come down like a ton of bricks on anything that YouTube could perceive as COVID misinformation, because they will strike a channel and take it off air for a week. They just nailed Sky News in Australia for it. So that's the reason I did what I just did to that guy, because he's got he's got history for it, and I just don't want to lose Pimp's channel. Not on my watch. So sorry about that, folks, about blowing up then. I apologize. But yeah, please don't post your shit on here anymore, dude. We're done. Just go do it somewhere else, please. Fuck off. Thanks for coming on the show, fellas.
Yeah, Gene.
And
what's your problem?
Thanks to the folks that donated. Appreciate it. Thank you to the Patreons, and thank you to the viewers that come back every day and punish themselves by listening to us. Big silly. You're all fucking awesome. And Shabby, you're kind of cute. And John, I'll just see you after the show. We're gonna fuck.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you for the support on the stream and everything, and fuck you.
Yeah. Have a good one, folks.